Okie dokie,
Live.
David. Here we are.
Gareth, we're live. Welcome to the
Live.
Dollop Election Special 2020. America decides.
You should shout the date.
November
3rd, you fucking idiot.
Fuck.
3rd.
November 3rd, 2020, year of our Lord Jesus Christ, the last year in world history.
I think we have. I've always said that you're pessimistic because I think we have 2 to 3 left.
2 to 3. Okay. I can give you 2 to 3. So one of our last 3 years,
right? Which is
great. Be a good one.
Which is great. Which is exciting. And Dave, let's just start by welcoming everybody from all over the country. Hello from Albany. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I dressed for the part. I dressed for the evening. This is a big occasion, yes. and I dressed for it. So, it's an exciting. This is when America becomes America, Dave. Now, you're someone who you're a bit of a fringe guy. I'm the policy wonk, and I'm the numbers guy. And
I like the feel, and I like the feel of the game.
You like the vibe.
Sport. I like the vibe. I just like politics.
Yes, but regardless of where we stand, we honor the evening, and we're very excited to bring people updates as far as what's happening in the election. Also, there's a Senate race. I don't know if anybody's heard about this. Dave, have you read about this? There's also Senate votes the same time as the president.
Yeah, so here's what's going on tonight, and this is kind of this is why you tune in to this station stream. YouTube.
Yeah.
It's because we have facts, and the facts are
facts. To be clear, facts. We have fax machines, is what you're saying. So we are constantly faxing people from around the country, and nobody has more fax machines than us. MSNBC 5 fax machines. We have 19 fax machines.
Now we don't accept fax.
No,
we only fax them out.
We reject fax.
That's right.
That's right. That's exactly it. But sorry,
there are Senate there are Senate races going on, and that is
are you shouting? Are you yelling?
That is a separate.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's better.
This feels, every election.
People haven't seen Election U. And Election U is it's a spicy U.
I had to take 19 tranquilizers today.
And Dave, let's just be honest. Out of the two of us, I'm the policy wonk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
And so there are there's 2 chambers in a
handgun. Sorry. I keep jumping
about Congress. I know it's easy to do. And so there's 2 chambers in Congress, and one is for super rich people, and there's less of them. There's 100 of them. And then the other one is for lesser rich people, and there's about, I think, like 400 and some odd of them.
Now
I don't remember.
You sort of alluded to this. They are lesser. So in the echelon of the power structure of our government, it will go the president, the VP, then we're going to the Senate, and they're corrupt, but the president's like super corrupt. But then the Senate, like, there's a ceiling on your corruption to some extent, but you can still make some sweet change and some sweet coin. And then Congress, it's like, you're corrupt, but come on. I mean, it's a crowded room.
You're corrupt the way I'm corrupt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And some of them aren't even corrupt, which it's honestly disgusting to have them involved in our government.
I'm suspicious of the ones who aren't in it for the money.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I don't know why get into politics if you didn't want to buy a couple of houses.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now let's Dave, what do we have so far? Do you know what we have so far? What we've called a number of states.
Well, they've definitely called Vermont to Joe Biden.
Yeah, Biden's got
3 electoral votes. So if people don't understand, the electoral map is we divvied up things because there were a lot of slaves, and we didn't want them to vote.
Nice. I'm glad that we're getting into this nice and early.
We wanted them to count because there were a lot of people living there, they were owned. So we came up with this thing called the Electoral College, purely based on slavery, and we still use that today.
Dave, let me jump in with some more relevant topical information as far as this goes. But everybody loves where you're taking the evening. Right now, in the Electoral College, which is like Trump College because it makes no sense. Right. We have Joe Biden had 119 to Donald Trump's 92. So states that we can call so far for Biden are Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and then D.C. And then for Trump, we can call North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and West Virginia, and South Carolina. And so that's 119 to 92. It's a race to 270, Dave, for those international viewers.
What news source are you using? Because mine is only.
I'm on Breitbart. I'm on Breitbart, and they're good. Actually, they just updated it. Trump has won the election. I'm on Breitbart. And Trump has won 430 to 7. The election's over. Breitbart is calling it early. So I was doing nitrous out of them. I was doing nitrous out of all those. So you do not have that count so far, Dave?
I don't. I have 73 to Biden and 48 to Trump.
Oh, interesting. So I'm way off.
So Trump is behind right now, but Trump is going to win Florida.
Okay, so that's the thing.
Maybe our best state. Let's
talk about that very quickly because now wait, if I could see the electoral count. Well, let's talk about Florida because I think a lot of people thought that Florida was going to be in play for the Democrats and in play for Biden. And it never was. Why was it never in play?
I saw some stuff today that the people saying that it would be really hard for Trump to win. But I mean, there's a couple things about Florida. It's super fucking corrupt. And
we're talking about Florida, America, right?
Yeah. Florida in America. This is just brand new. It hasn't been corrupt before. This is in the last year or so. But they have like a little mini Trump running the state, and he's killing everybody as much as he can.
I related to him on Twitter. To me, it looked like Bradley Cooper fucked a Papa John's pizza, is what Rick DeSantis looks like.
That's right. That's right. Yes, that is actually what he used in his campaign.
Yes. I'm the only person that's been fucked by a full-on sausage Papa John pizza.
And that right there, if you're running and I hear that, I'm voting for you because you understand me. You know
here's what I also like. Any Papa John tie-in, I've always felt really good about because a lot of people say, Papa John's racist. Papa John gets too drunk. Papa John's a piece of shit. Well, let me tell you this, folks. There is no better endorsement to get than the Papa John's pizza. Again, a man who was kicked out of his own company because of saying the N-word on a conference call and then saying, what's the big deal after? So I just wanted to give the quick PJU, which is the Papa John update.
Again, not to defend him, but he did think he was calling back in time, and he thought he was calling 1904.
That's been his excuse. His excuse the whole time is he said it was a conference call with 1904.
So on that one, I don't know whose side.
He was trying to call his great-grandpapa John.
That's right.
Great-grandpapa John, are you there? Okay, but keep going with a serious point about Florida. So we have Governor DeSantis.
So you have DeSantis, who is going to try to fix as much as possible. You have the thing where they thought they all passed a ballot measure saying all felons could vote, and then the Republicans switched that up so they couldn't. So there's all kinds of games going on, and also Trump had so many more registrations than Dems.
I was
really were fucking bad they were really bad with the ground game in Florida.
That happened in a number of states though, where Republicans were. I was reading that Republicans were registering a lot more people. And by the way, your count is right. Whatever your count was is accurate. At least as far as what the mainstream news is telling us. Put your elbows down. Nobody wants to see elbows like that. So now it's 80 to 51. Biden versus Trump. And who will lead us? Sort of. Okay, so you never felt Florida was in place. So we're going to lose Florida. But a lot of the counting
Well,
they're
I
doing
mean,
now.
I could be wrong. He could still win it. I saw a guy this morning explaining why, with all the early votes, it was going to be super hard for Trump to win. So who knows?
Well, that's what I was just going to say, because how, they're not counting. They're still counting the. I mean, obviously, we're not going to know a lot of stuff tonight from certain areas. But in Florida, they're counting the mail-in ballots this evening, right?
Oh God, I don't know if they're doing that in
I
Florida.
think they do. I think they
But
start counting them.
I think that, so there's a couple ways to do this. You could have mail-in voting, you can have the votes come in early, and you can open them up as they come in and count them so nobody's rushed.
Yeah, but that
Or
doesn't make any sense.
you can do it the way that a lot of parents do, and you
Yes.
don't know what the baby is until you go to
Yes.
the hospital, and then you're like, it's a boy. So it's kind of the same idea.
It's fun.
Now it's
It's like a
fun. It's
gender
more
reveal.
fun. It's a gender reveal. So Florida's essentially doing a gender reveal for an election,
And
they
that's
are
more fun.
waiting.
That's
It is much more fun.
that's showbiz, and I like that. That's why Florida has a Hollywood.
That's right. A lot of people don't know that. Florida has a Hollywood, and Gareth just tied it in, and it makes a lot of sense.
Next topic. Okay, so, and I feel like people get so freaked out early, or they come to conclusions very early in the evening. That is a little foolish, correct?
I think it's what everybody should do. I believe in panicking. I
Mhm.
believe in being tremendously scared for no reason. I think
Mhm.
that when CNN spends 5 minutes talking about a specific county in Northwest Georgia
Mhm.
and how much that has changed, that is so important that you should probably just shit your pants and start screaming.
Dave, you're being sarcastic, but let's remember, I'm the numbers wonk here. I'm the
Right,
wonk
sorry.
guy. So
apologize.
you laugh it up, but we're the numbers. The people. I'm behind a desk, you fucking asshole.
Look,
So
I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're John King. Let's go CNN.
what happens during Wolf Blitzer during a full moon?
He turns
Does he
human.
become Werewolf Blitzer?
No, he turns into a human. It's just really
Oh, so we've been dealing with a wolf.
Yeah. No, this is the wolf.
I'm Wolf Blitzer. That's why he only does news at night.
We got full we got the full Blitzer, full
Yeah,
wolf.
just shredding co-anchors. Wolf Blitzer's just killed Rick Santorum.
Gareth, with 78% of the vote in North Carolina, Biden is winning. So
wow, that's crazy.
A couple percentage points. Could turn. One of the scary things about this election is that a lot of the Democrats voted early, and then the later voters will be Biden. So the states that counted early, you could have a rush of idiots coming in to vote for their giant orange rapist, and then you get what you get, which is a rapist president. Which
what Biden should have done? They should have re-released the Access Hollywood tape. They should have just been like, "Hey, let's just all have another. Let's refresh ourselves on this because it's fucking crazy."
They should have called it a re-release. They should have said
they should have put it in theaters.
Yes,
There's nobody in theaters. Why not just make a preview and just be like, now we're playing the Access Hollywood tape in theaters?
That's right. A lot of people on the chat are yelling that I don't have a hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you have two people with hats on during a situation like this, it's pretty confusing.
And by the way, this is the situation like this room. That's what we're calling this, the situation like this room. It's like the situation room. But again, Dave doesn't need to wear a hat. I'm the wonk guy here. I'm kind of the policy numbers wonk. Dave's my guest. I have the ability to kick him out if I like. Will I? I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe I'll pull a Trump. You're fired.
Kick me out. Oh my God, please kick me out.
Okay. So Trump is Alabama. Trump is winning South Dakota, Dave. We just got South Dakota in.
Now that is a shock. I got to say, I really thought that Trump would not be doing well in South Dakota.
South Dakota is a normal state for sure. They've proven themselves to be really sane.
I picked Biden for places like South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma.
I've been making I've made a very bold call. I think Biden's going to be the senator from Maine.
Well, Gareth, again,
that's ranked choice voting.
Night.
That's ranked choice voting.
Election night. Anything can happen. People could go into that voting booth and say, you know what, I think he'd make a better senator, and they can just write him in for senator, and that's
ranked choice voting. That's ranked choice voting. That's why it's such a huge problem. Okay, and then I just saw that with 16% reporting, which is nothing. But okay, so let's talk a prediction here, Dave. What do you think is going to happen this evening?
Well, I think that Florida won't be finished.
Oh, you're a touch quiet, but only a touch. So maybe go back to your volume of screaming.
I think that
no.
I think that how's that? Better?
That's good. Yes.
I think that Florida will not be called. I think that there's going to be all kinds of shenanigans.
The Red Mirage.
I think there's going to be shenanigans in North Carolina, and I think there's going to be shenanigans in is it Minnesota?
Georgia has to have shenanigans.
One of those.
Well, Minnesota. I mean, Wisconsin's already had its shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, there's active shenanigans, and then and then Georgia. I mean, Georgia. The thing is that just how well, this is the problem with our election system. This is why it is so. It's sort of such a faulty thing we do when we sit around and do live coverage like these idiots on TV. Not us. We're nailing it. But is that it really is. There is so much electoral fraud. And what happened in Georgia with Stacey Abrams a couple of years ago, when, I mean, Brian Kemp, basically they kicked 280,000 people off the voter registrations without their knowledge.
They just stole the election by just kicking
that
people
one was
off,
completely stolen,
not counting votes. And
Brian Kemp also was not only running for governor, he was also in charge of the elections.
That's right. And that's not, some people say that's a conflict of interest. I don't. I think that any
you're one of these sticklers. You really have stuck to your guns on this.
Well, he came out and he says, I have integrity, and I have to take a man for his word. And if he says he has integrity, then he did the right thing.
Right.
I think the great thing about Georgia is that the Democrats then came out and said, no, you didn't win, and we're not ever going to agree that you're our governor, and we want a do-over. And they really fucking stuck
Dave,
line in the sand, and they said, "No way are you stealing this state. That is a stolen election." What,
Dave?
Yes,
that didn't happen. They rolled over.
Oh shit, is that true?
They rolled over.
Maybe I'm thinking of the 2000 election between Bush and Gore.
No,
I went to Florida.
No,
and the fucking Democrats came out and said, no way, buddy.
No,
you are not stealing Florida. We are you do not steal a presidential election from us. Not having it.
David,
and they drew a line. And they said, you are not.
Dave.
You shan't cross.
Dave. That's not what happened in Florida in 2000.
That's not.
No.
Okay.
Remember?
I'm thinking.
Catherine Harris came in and stopped the recount at a moment when George W. Bush was ahead, and then it went to the Supreme Court, and they ended it, and then Al Gore rolled over, and then after the recount was officially done, Al Gore had won the state, and George W. Bush won the presidency.
I'm thinking of 2004 in Ohio, in Cuyahoga County, when the Ohio votes weren't in, and then they just sealed off a building. And inside that building, they magically came up with the exact number of votes that would give the entire state to Bush, and therefore the election. And they just blatantly stole it in front of everybody. And the Democrats were like, no, sir. Nay, I shan't have this. We will now end all shenanigans, sir.
Half of that happened. The part that you've invented, again, is the Democrats doing something about it. Remember, Kerry conceded the next day.
Is that true?
Yeah, I remember. I was working for my brother. I was cleaning gutters the next day.
You know what I might be thinking of? I might be thinking of 2016, because in 2016, what the Republicans did was they actually made it impossible for people to vote in Wisconsin specifically black people, they are like,
This part's
no
true.
voting for you. And then
This
black
part is
people
true.
couldn't vote. And
This part's
then
true.
the state went to Trump, and the Democrats did what? They came out and said, no, sir,
No.
this is not happening. Not these shenanigans. You're not stealing an election. And they said, ha, no way, buddy.
No.
The Democrats will not allow this to happen.
No.
Not once,
No.
not ever. It's
They
not who
rolled
we are.
over. They rolled over. It is who they are. They are who we thought they were.
What am I thinking of?
I think you've invented everything. I don't think they have rolled over a lot.
Huh.
They've rolled over a lot.
Because when people tell me about the Democrats, I always, in my head, I say, oh, the fighters. The fighters.
Well,
the fighters are here.
I think they're the fighters in the way that Andre the Giant was a pro wrestler.
Huh. Well,
I think it was just an illusion to afford a life of eating whole chickens and drinking cases of brandy. It's a pretty apt comparison. All right.
Okay.
Do you have any updates?
So we got bad news.
Dave's in the election center.
93% of the vote is in Ohio. And,
Oh, no.
Trump is up by pretty good, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. He's up. No, that's weird because I have. How much do you have in reporting?
It just went away.
Okay. I have it on mine as 59% in, and Biden's up 51-47.
Huh. Well,
and that
maybe,
Wisconsin.
So that's in Ohio?
Okay.
Oh,
That's
no,
what
you're
I
right.
have here.
Okay, they just flipped it. Yes, it's Ohio. That was a mistake.
So
Yes,
Dave,
he's up in Ohio. Wow, if he wins Ohio, it's over.
who? Trump or Biden?
Biden. So basically, the way this is playing out is Trump
Do you have
doesn't.
Do you have any 2016 vibes right now?
No.
No. Okay. I think people need to hear that. People want to hear you tell them how you think this is shaping up. I would guess.
Well, the differences between 2016 and 2020 are that in 2016, the Democrats ran the most unlikable candidate in the modern history of the Democratic Party.
Bernie
a candidate
Sanders.
that no one ever liked. Yes, Bernie Sanders. A candidate that no one liked, that had actually never come up as a politician winning elections and proving that they're likable and can win elections. And they just decided that that person would be the candidate. And then it turns out people didn't like that person. So what you had was nobody liked Hillary Clinton and nobody liked Trump. But this is different because a lot of people like Biden. A lot.
Let me just jump in real quick. Someone just asked if you're on the toilet, and the answer is yes. Please keep going.
Me?
Yeah. Dave's on the
I
toilet.
do every election shitting.
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah, no, I didn't think we had to say that.
That's why you
things
call
are
this
just
your you call this your hemorrhoid season.
I'm gonna wanna take
No, that we'll get kicked off if you
No?
show the poop. Yeah, don't show the
Okay.
poop.
Okay.
Okay, so then, but okay, as far as this evening goes, how do you feel it's taking shape so far from what you can tell? Is it what you thought? Is it different? What do you think?
It's pretty close to what I thought right now. There hasn't been a state that has concerned me or jumped out. I know some people are saying that Texas has been called. I have seen a lot of other places not called Texas. I think that we get into a situation in this country where there's a couple things that happen. First, all the people, specifically cable channels, want to make it seem like it's really close and it's really hanging in there, and they want to, and they don't. But then one wants to call it before the other one. So it's this weird sort of dynamic that's taking place. Florida is very tricky. There is that one there is what I was reading today. Some guy was crunching the numbers and he was saying Trump literally has to win 67% of this specific county to carry the election in Florida. And he thought that was really going to be hard for him. So I wouldn't call
Trump's Florida numbers so far seem pretty solid.
Yeah, but you never know where they're coming from. Like, are they?
And you also don't. They're also still counting mail-in. I mean, the mail-in thing this year is what makes it so crazy. It's why people talked about the red mirage or even the blue mirage to some extent, because you're just.
I think that's mirage.
Have you ever stayed at the Mirage in Vegas? They have the
Yeah,
weirdest
I love
elevator.
them
They have
around.
a very weird
Oh
elevator.
my God. Yeah.
And first of all, thank you everybody for tuning in. We should also say that Florida should be a 0. Let's see here. I'll go to some comments for a minute and see if there's anything. The ones that jump out. Grab Trump by the polls. He's queen shit of Liesville. Take my money. Thank you for being a super sticker. Go ahead.
I would say, so here's a comment that someone made that they just said centrists are better than full-on fascism. But here's the problem with what's going on in America is the centrists created, they make the soil for the fascists to grow, right? That's kind of how it works.
You're connecting with the farmers right now. I like that.
Yeah, I'm connecting with the farmers. So the neoliberals and the centrists, they sort of create the ground in which fascism and also, on the other hand, socialism grow. And that's by not providing the people what they need and not giving the people what they need. And in this case, they completely obliterated the manufacturing base of America. And so now you have the result.
So yeah, and I think that, I mean, we've been very clear about where we stand on this election in particular. Like, I think we both thought that we would not root for a Democrat to be the president again.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we are.
Here we are. Well,
and
that's what happened. Right?
And the reason again is because you are faced with such a just total lunatic in Donald Trump. But it's yes, but Martin Luther King also on record saying that the real a huge problem is the moderate Democrat. The moderate Democrat is someone who gets in the way of change, and so that's why there is some frustration. But still, regardless, we are watching this. We're not wanting Donald Trump to be in charge for sure. That is 100%.
Yeah, that's kind of where we landed. I mean, look, he is going to, if he wins, he is going to. That's when fucking purges happen. Like he's.
Really it'll get crazy. So
yeah, it'll get.
So we are. I mean, it's weird. It's actually been sort of cathartic in a way because I have a lot of friends who would call themselves Democrats, and and it's very strange for us to actually be texting again. Be like texting about politics, I mean, I still throw out stuff where I go, "Hey, well, worst case scenario, we get a revolution." But yeah, so I think that is a very. By the way, Dave, can we ask about, as far as just 30,000-foot overview? Who are your favorite people to watch on the news as far as hate watch? Because I have quite a list. But who's your person where you just go, I can't fucking handle this?
Chuck Todd.
Oh God, Chuck Todd is such a pimple. That guy is such. Can you imagine fucking Chuck Todd? I mean, imagine. Yeah. Now I'll play this game sometimes, but imagine Chuck Todd going down on his wife. That poor situation. Well, let's have fun. Come on, let's loosen it up. A lot of networks aren't doing this kind of coverage. But Chuck Todd is a wet noodle.
I think he nibbles around the side. I think if Chuck Todd is going down on his wife, he nibbles around the sides, and that's all he does.
Num. I don't know what's inside that area, but it looks crazy, honey. And then he just comes on her like before he gets in. Not a lot of coverages.
Chuck is the one who he nibbles around the outside, and then he yells, "Oh my God, I finished!"
Yeah, I'm sorry, I came outside your bed again. That's okay, Chuck.
He says, "I'm calling it for Chuck's little guy."
Oh, Chuck Rod. Yeah, you know who I find pretty intolerable, and it's funny because I think before I knew anything, I really did like him because he was kind of funny and he hosted SNL. Brian Williams drives me crazy. The Brian Williams, Rachel Maddow 1-2 combo of like it's pretty remarkable. Oh, Ed Markey, he's got Massachusetts. We already knew that. And Jan Sheehan is for sure in New Hampshire. Cory Booker, he's coming back from New Jersey. Oklahoma, Jim Einhoff. We've got Mike Rounds in South Dakota. So Bill Haggerty. I mean, it's just all white dudes.
Yeah, it's a lot of white guys. It's the year of the whites. Yeah, the Democrats decided the Republicans that went racist, so they should go more white, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that. It is shocking though, isn't it? Isn't it still just shocking that it is just so, I mean, with all that's out there right now, um, isn't it shocking that it is still pretty much just white men?
Yeah, it's really amazing that it doesn't seem to be changing, and that there have been races that I have been a big fan of, particularly in places like Texas. Latina woman and Nancy Pelosi will roll into town and back the
Oh
white
yeah.
guy.
Well, it's what we
And
just
it,
saw happen with Nancy
we have a
Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Hillary. They just send out the shit brigade to just say this is the guy, and it's just because they kissed the ring.
yeah, they kiss the ring. I think yeah, white women. Uh, you know, it's time to say you're as bad as white men because it's not going great. It's not.
So
They're
yeah,
all voting for Trump. They vote for Trump. The majority of white women vote for Trump.
that's
And then all
crazy.
these Nancy Pelosi's and Dan Feinsteins help sway elections away from minority candidates. It's just
Well,
repetitive and
and
nauseating.
Nancy Pelosi won't even debate. She won't even debate,
No,
and that's a problem we have. You know, that's what we would say about Republicans. We would say, oh, they won't even show up. Well, we don't even. The
yeah,
Democrats don't even show up. We will get some Jose at some moment. Oh God, my mom talked about being proud of being white. I mean, it's the same thing as all lives matter. It's just like I mean, there's been many good comparisons made, but if your mother is proud of being white, you know, it's like the good comparison I heard was, "Hey, my house is on fire," and someone going, "All houses matter," and someone saying, "Yes, they do, but mine's on fire right now." Can we talk about that one? Like, it really is just it's racism.
I'm trying to turn up my mic because I just saw someone said it was too low again.
Okay, so Dave's turning up his mic again.
Is it better
Uh,
now?
that sounds louder to me. We will get to
Yeah.
Jose.
Okay.
He's sleeping right now in his hammock. It just won't be a good him. I'll get him after he eats,
Plus,
which is going to be
he
a
doesn't.
little while from now, but we will get him.
He also doesn't like, just traditionally Jose's style is he doesn't like to wake up until the polls start closing in the West.
He's a policy wonk.
Yeah, he really is
He's
a policy
wonk.
wonk.
Let's just say what's up to Matt and Ashley Stargell. Hello, our friends. I don't know if you remember that name. We've hung out with them a few times. Fantastic. Swisher Girl and Lobster and Droid Lobsters on Twitter.
Is that who just texted us?
Yeah, probably.
You can text us too. We're not going to give you our numbers, but if you have our number, you can text us.
I'll give them their number. We can throw your number out there.
Let's do a little dum club, and I give out your phone number.
Oh man, that is one thing that I do really like about our show is that it really is. There is no side fuckery. Like, we fuck around with each other outside, but the show is just what it is, and we don't have to like
ruin each other's lives.
Well, just stunt it up, you know. Okay, so it looks like the Democrats have won a Colorado Senate seat.
Oh, Hickenlooper.
So
here's a great story. So yeah, Hickenlooper is I think he was something else in government, maybe the governor or something at one point.
Yeah,
and lost. Right. And then he has tons of fossil fuel connections, gas, oil, fracking, super it on that stuff. And there was a very left green candidate. And this was, if a Democrat won the primary, they were easily going to trounce the Republican. And so again, all the establishment got behind the guy who loves fossil fuels, including climate scientist Michael Mann, who is a huge voice for climate change and stopping climate change. Could never get an answer out of him. Could never get an answer, but he sent out an email saying, vote for Hickenlooper. Yeah, well, that's what he did. Man, I don't know. At some point, you have to wonder how fucking clueless these people are, but they just get so caught up in like, well, Democrats just have to get in. It's like, no, the right Democrats have to get in.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to probably come outside of the Democratic Party. I mean, honestly, when your leaders are who our leaders are for the Democratic Party right now, it's just like, you know, I mean, like Nancy Pelosi has $100 million. She's not looking to change anything.
Oh, Hickenlooper was a geologist, so he might actually have a scientific connection with him somehow. Maybe they know each other, but whoever gave that. My connection sucks. Yeah, I actually can't be wired today. I apologize. I'm on Wi-Fi, so that's what the
Dave will
problem is
probably
there.
go back and forth. Now, see, another friend of mine just texted me. Okay, a friend of mine just texted me, not looking great.
No, it's
Now, why
fine.
is that? Okay.
Why? Why? First of all, nothing's really happened yet. You know when
I
it doesn't
know,
look
that's the
great.
thing. I know.
When
And
it when it
so
doesn't
are
look
we
great,
go
it's
ahead.
if we start losing Pennsylvania,
Yes, that's a huge
Michigan,
yes.
Wisconsin.
I
That's
mean,
when it is the
if you
problem.
see Pennsylvania and Michigan, but we're not going to know those tonight.
Hey, here's an awesome story.
Okay.
Sarah McBride is going to be the nation's first trans state senator.
Fuck yes. My unfortunately, the coroner who I was trying to raise money for, Ian Dent in Indiana, did not win the race to be the first trans coroner. But that is great, and that's sort of what I mean. That's we just need so much more diversity on every
Yeah,
single level.
yeah, absolutely.
Because then, I mean, the way that they cut out your ability to vote in most states at this point, and it's permeating everywhere. Wisconsin and Georgia are the models for how to break a government changeover in any way,
Yeah,
and that's what you're seeing more and more places, and that's why really, you have to come up with some sort of radical change, and again, it's not enough to just have this pendulum that just kind of is going back and forth between these two, middle of the road. I mean, not even middle of the road, super right, but just sort of never veering off of their direct path parties. It makes no sense. I mean, everybody at one point in their life has said to someone, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And yet that is what our elections are.
yeah, 100%. And we missed a huge opportunity after 9/11 to make the greatest change to our foreign policy in the history of
Yeah.
the United States.
Yes,
And
you mean to stop being
after
the police people of the entire nation, of the entire globe.
after the banking crisis, we missed the greatest chance in the history of our country to change directions
Under
on
Barack
the
Obama
economic issues in
and
America.
under Barack Obama and no banker. I think one person from Wall Street went to jail, and it was not a top tiered banker in any way. And instead, people got kicked out of their houses.
And with Donald Trump, we missed the greatest opportunity to change the course of our country and elected a center right Democrat. So as much as I want Trump to lose, we are on a path for some really bad shit because we did not adjust and take note of why Trump had happened. It is truly the election of the lesser of two evils. Biden has not a great record.
Well, and the truth is, and we still don't know anything. Well, they're starting to show some counties in Wisconsin, but again, they're doing that thing you're talking about.
Counties.
I know
the fact that we live in a country. This is like watching a baseball draft and you're in the 27th round and they're talking about some guy
and you're making picks of who's going to win the World Series.
And
you're making World Series picks of the draft. But okay, and now we're at 89 to 72 electoral wise, Biden Trump. So tightening, but it doesn't really mean much right now. I'm trying to think of when in 2016, when did Florida did pass a $15 minimum wage. But the thing is this with the minimum wage, they kicked the can so far down the road with a $15 minimum wage that $15 became irrelevant.
Yes, 15 should now be 24.
They ran the clock out on the $15 minimum wage. And you're right, $15 minimum wage it's better than what we have in a lot of places, but it still is bullshit. It's total bullshit. It's not enough. Especially, I mean, think about how many jobs people have to fucking work. I mean, think about the fact that Prop 22 in California right now is like neck and neck for a yes and no.
Yeah.
which is the rideshare, basically saying that our people who work for rideshares, independent contractors or employees of a place, Uber, DoorDash, all those companies, Lyft, they do not want them to be full-time employees. They want them to be independent contractors. And there is also some language in Prop 22 that says that it can never be challenged.
Never. It's a permanent law.
It's a permanent
It's the craziest, most undemocratic law I've ever heard of in my life. And people are like,
you should never vote for a permanent law, period. This law sucks on its face anyway. So this should be a no. This prop should be a no. But it's still...
But they're lying to people. They're sending out flyers that say Bernie supports it. They're doing all kinds of shit.
And they're not only doing that, they're making DoorDash drivers who drop off fucking food to people's places have Prop 22 language on the bags or shit like... So it's like... It is, I think it's like $122 million they've thrown at it versus the no campaign, which has been like 20 million or 30 million or something like that. Okay, so yeah, 11% in Wisconsin. I mean, yes, it's all neck and neck. And Wisconsin cannot. Go ahead.
Just straight up, if Trump were to win this election, he didn't win it, he stole it.
Yes, agree.
Like there's just no way with all the polling that at the end of the day, I'm like, Trump won. No, he didn't.
Totally agree.
And I don't think people will take it. I think the Democrats in Congress and everywhere else would roll over, but I think the rest of America is like, yeah, no, we're not doing that this time.
Yeah, it's not even funny, but it's shameful the way that we are like, who's interfering with our elections more, Russia or China? And
it's America.
The reality is it's us. We are the ones, we have the people that we have elected who are constantly fucking with us and fucking with our elections. In many ways, the felon law you alluded to in Florida is one. Look, if you don't see the wash this hand, wash the other hand system that goes on when you say that felons can't vote, and then you are predominantly locking up minorities instead of white people, I mean, where do you think this goes? It's just a clear. It's another clear way to completely take away the power of. I mean, and again, what you were saying earlier is so true because the Democratic fight is so weak. How is there no massive campaign? How is there nobody that's the face of that? How is there nobody that is? It seems like this election in particular, everyone was like, "Look, let's just get through this election, and then we can kind of revisit this and talk about it." Because there was never a debate about, hey, fuck you for fucking with the post office. I mean, that came up, but instead they just said, look, everybody go vote in person. That would be better for us. And it's like, well, what the fuck? I mean, aren't you in the fucking government? Aren't you supposed to have the back of the citizens? Aren't you the opposition party? Aren't you supposed to fully reject this on its face? And instead of that, you acquiesce to the rules that are made up? It would be like playing Twister with someone, and then someone halfway through it goes, your foot can also be your hand. And your friend saying, look, just try to win with your foot as your hand. Instead of being like, no, fuck the guy with the spinny wheel. What is he talking about? Those are not the rules of Twister.
It's really crazy. And there's also, America is just like, you just do the shit where they're like, yeah, we're just going to have the Supreme Court justices. They just go until they die. Isn't that really dumb? Yeah, but that's what we're doing. Yeah, but it's fucking stupid, right? Yeah.
And when did that start? What was the life expectancy when that started? 53?
Yeah, that's a big problem.
I mean, the people like Ginsburg was 93.
93.
I mean,
93.
You should not have. I mean, when was my grandmother passed away probably 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. And when I went into the old folks' home, I was around 89, 90-year-old people. I mean, honestly, 85 is, and this is what's the mean average of our government? 86, 80.
The fucking Senate. There's so many crazy old. Dianne Feinstein won.
Oh,
I think she was 88 when she won, and I just kept calling her old on Twitter. And people were like, now you're making, don't be ageist, and I'm like, she's fucking 88. What are you talking about? How are you not? Have you been around an 88-year-old? They
Here's
can't
the
do
good news.
anything.
Here's the good news.
Anything.
Dianne Feinstein doesn't know what Twitter is, so she'll never see the rude comments. She'll just keep going like this. It says I'm logged out. It's sending a verification code. Where's the code?
It's bad.
So-
It's all bad. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that.
So wait.
The Democrats really acquiesced in this election. So yes, give some real numbers update here.
Okay, so here's what we have. We have New Mexico has been called to Biden, Colorado Biden, New York Biden, Virginia Biden, DC, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Vermont. All Biden. Trump has North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, South Carolina. At least the Civil War is over. That's what I keep saying when I see all this stuff. As I keep thinking, well, at least the Civil War is over.
Yeah, isn't it? And let's revisit it every 4 years forever in perpetuity.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's winning the states that have the worst COVID rates, but percentages in the world. North Dakota, worst in the entire world. Not America.
No.
The world. The whole goddamn thing.
Is there any
the whole
part of
fucking
you,
world?
Is there any part of you that feels like there's some sort of redemptive quality to the fact that the Olympics got canceled, but America still has the lead in something?
Yeah. I mean, look, I like to be part of a winning team. And as much as all the other countries out there they're having their little spikes and their little, oh, we're having another spike of COVID. No one's getting close to us. No one is getting close.
Nice try. I love the UK right now being like, oh, excuse me, we have a horrible coronavirus problem. And it's like, hey, why don't you take your pubs and get the fuck out of here and leave it to the professionals?
That's right.
We know how to ruin this. We know how to ruin
Get your
this.
fucking pugs out of here. Fucking pug
okay.
people.
Where do you trust to get your prop info here in California? Thank you for doing this. Someone asked.
Oh, it's so hard to figure out where to get the appropriate breakdown of shit like that.
It's very
a group called Knock LA in Los Angeles. It's pretty good. Ground Game LA are also very good. Yeah.
Someone else just said that in Wisconsin they're only seeing Trump signs. They'd be shocked if Biden wins. Yeah, I mean, potentially.
It doesn't mean anything, honestly.
I know that the sign count thing.
The sign thing isn't anything.
It goes two
Trump
ways.
was giving them out. Biden was charging for them.
And it goes to. By the way, is there any? I mean, does that? If you're in the Biden campaign and you hear that, why do you not just go, we have 95 times more money than him right now. We're paying people to take them.
It's to them. It's a racket. There are the Democratic Party. Every election is filled with consultants cash. Just make money. And that's all they're doing is grifting. They're making money. That's what the consultants are doing. So why would they give away any money on signs when they want to fucking sweep?
All right, Dave. Now, a friend of mine. Okay. If Trump wins Ohio, what do you think? Is it too early to know if Trump's going to win Ohio?
Trump can win Ohio and Biden can still win the election.
But it's starting to get dicier, right?
It's dicier. It's definitely going his way at that point, but it doesn't mean that he wins the election. It's Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania. Those are the really, really important states.
Yeah, I mean, truly, if Biden doesn't win Pennsylvania, then but we probably won't know Pennsylvania tonight.
Not for days. As a matter of fact, Trump, that might be where the Civil War starts.
Right, because the law is that they can't start counting until tonight.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, they can't start counting.
Why are we called the United States of America when there's literally no continuity with policy from state to state in any regard?
Well, we're all different, but we're united in that we don't like each other.
Yeah, I mean, it is becoming that. It is fully turning into this thing where it was like when Trump said with Corona, he's like, well, it's up to the state governments. It was like, wait, what? So it's all very confusing. But the idea that we can't just have one clear rule book for the elections, why?
Yeah.
Why can't we just have one very straightforward, this is how we do it? I mean, probably because that would lead to the popularity vote being the count, and that would turn out more people to vote, and that's not what the Republicans want anyway.
I mean, when you turn 18, you should get a card in the mail, and that card allows you to do
countries. Other countries.
It should be an ID card and a voting card and other stuff card, and that should be your thing. And then you just go to vote when you want with your card. Yeah.
In all the media circles, though, they 2016 again, right? They were all like, Trump is dead. This is so Biden's to lose. And
but it really
doesn't. We're not on the path to a landslide.
People are getting scared about Michigan.
Okay, that's fucking bad news. I'm going to take a piss real quick and get a shot. Okay, talk to the people about Michigan.
Yeah. Well, I was just watching some of you guys talk about it. Here's the fucking thing. Like, the states aren't going to come in all at once. So it's really dumb that we even do this. All that should happen is we shouldn't be seeing this. We should be just sitting around, and then they go, oh, so results are in, he won Michigan. We shouldn't be watching it slowly ticker and like, it's fucking crazy. Does everybody get how crazy that is? It's really fucking insane that we just sit at home and we're like, oh God, that county went for Biden. What the fuck? Like, what is going on? You just wait. So Michigan had a ton of early votes and only could start counting them yesterday. So again, this is different states are having this thing. Officials say it could be a week to process it all. Okay, that's Glenna from the live stream. Like, yeah, we're getting this from a lot of states. There's a bunch of states that you can't count early, and there's a bunch of states that you can start counting weeks ago because that's normal. And then it goes, now Philadelphia is a state that you can't count early. A city you can't count early. That's a big deal. So there's a bunch of different places where you can't count early. Florida's a can't count early state. So they're all problematic. And then on top of that, there's gonna be a lot of panic. And within that panic, there will literally be Trump guys walking around trying to disqualify ballots. So it's a whole fucking shit show.
So I'm sorry, I missed the Michigan part.
Well, we didn't get to it. I started talking about something else, and then do
you not need alcohol to cope like your father?
No, I don't.
I thought that was handed down. So it's like baldness that skips a generation.
It does.
So Finn's probably going to be a real bottle hog, right?
Who? What is
your son Finn? He's probably going to be a real big bottle hog. Talking to the mic, please.
Yeah, he's going to be a huge bottle hog. That kid is going to drink so fucking hard and long. Okay, here's the thing about Michigan. 26% reporting. Doesn't mean anything. It's literally nothing. Until it gets to 94%, why even pay attention to it?
But you can start to see. I mean, that is why these and again, Dave, I'm a policy wonk. That is why these people like the Steve Kornackis and the John King, the guys I call up the standy uppy reporter, the reporter who goes, Dave, welcome to the big board. Here, wait, I can do an impression of the big board guy. Hold on.
Yeah, do the big board.
Okay.
There's our big board boy.
This is so yes. Throw it to me, big board guy.
Okay, so we're getting some results in from around the country, and we are now going to go to our numbers expert, who's going to really break it down. Big boy Barry is coming in with the numbers. How's it looking, Big
Dave?
Boy
We're looking right now at a bit of a night. We're doing a split here over here, obviously. And when you crunch some of these, I'm a big numbers wonk. And it's after totaling them up, it comes down to something along these lines.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Thank you. Fucked. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying that.
Yeah.
No, we're hearing that from all over the country.
I'm at the big board.
People saying people saying we're fucked. I think the most exciting thing about this election is no matter who wins, the other side is not going to believe they won. And that's really the thing that we have to take to heart and realize that that will never be anything but a festering wound that never.
Don't you think that if we were called Argentina, that Ted Cruz would want to invade us to help our elections?
Yo, fuck yeah. I mean, if we were another country, every Republican would be calling for an invasion. A lot of Democrats would too.
And aren't we also, we are a country where I believe we're at, what is it? If exit polls and results are a 10%, if there's a 10% differential, normally the UN would consider there to be some sort of election fraud. And we just now casually accept exit polls as 12, 13 percentage points above what the actual reality is. And we never bat an eye.
We just kind of stopped doing the thing that every other country uses to discover if there's fraud. We just started going, that's not.
Russia's coming. They're Reds. Yeah, I've got nothing. I mean, well, the Democratic Senate control. So I guess in a way, now, would you find any solace or any sort of hope in the fact that if Biden does lose, if the Democrats control the two other houses, do you feel like that is helpful?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that would be a really big difference, but it's a check, but it's not a huge check because with the Supreme Court now literally being like ISIS America, and then the president being a fascist, it's not a great combo. Like it's not like.
No,
it's definitely
it's
not
like oil and oil.
Rainbows.
Yeah. Like vinegar and vinegar. You mix those two. So now we have an 89-72 count. What were we going to say, David?
The Democrats have officially picked up one seat in the Senate. So that as far as, things being, it's now a 41. It looks like 41-38 in the Senate. And then the other ones are still up for grabs. So,
I don't know why some guy just said Gareth is onion, but I don't know what that means.
No, Gareth is onion. That's right.
Is that right?
What is wrong with that? Yeah, no, you're onion. Sometimes when you hear like a thing or read a thing, take it in. Don't just immediately go, no, that's not a thing.
It's a very confusing thing to say.
Well, let me say it again. Let me say it and see if I can.
I don't think you're going to help.
Gareth is onion.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
Right?
No, I don't. I'm not into it any more than I was at the beginning.
A lot of people are saying it now. Blooming onion, Gareth is onion, Gareth is onion, onion. There's a lot of people for this.
Some guy just called me Garrett is onion. So that's, I mean, at what time do I throw a flag on the play for zero respect occurring?
So in Wisconsin, we have 33% of precincts reporting. That isn't enough to say anything. Pennsylvania, we have 23% reporting. That isn't enough to say anything. Like South Carolina, they called, and that is 37% reporting. But I think what that means is that the big places came in, and if he didn't win them, you know what I mean? They call a state when a big area comes in with a lot of votes, and Biden didn't do well enough to carry it. And then they go, well, that's over.
Yeah, I guess I, as you know, we've talked offline about this, and I have thought in my head that he will win somehow. He will come out of this I'm telling my brother to watch us.
Don't.
I think that I don't know how. I'm at the point with this guy where I'm just like, he shits rainbows.
He's in your head. He got in your head.
In my head.
He beat you. Trump
won.
Trump beat you.
He's won. I'm dressing up like I drive his horse-drawn carriage for a reason.
Okay, so let me say something.
Gareth is onion? Fuck off.
Yeah.
Gareth is onion. By the way, okay, I got to change channels because MSNBC has been interviewing this one douchebag. I don't remember who he is for 20 minutes. And it's just him like, and then I also wrote another movie that is pretty interesting if you want to hear about that one.
Is it Aaron Sorkin?
It's Aaron Sorkin. Everyone's Aaron Sorkin on TV. 89.72 right now. Just a reminder for international viewers, 270. 270. I'm the policy wonk. 270. I'm the numbers wonk. 270 is what we're after. We're going for a 270 count here. There you go. 270. That's the number we're after, ladies and gentlemen.
It looks like 210 though.
Fuck off. You're the writing wonk. I'm the numbers wonk. Us guys never write well. We're in a rush. We're doing mathematicians. We're going like this. Hey, got to times that by 3. Carry the 2. That equals 45, which looks like a 95. And I bet you're going to complain about that, aren't you, fuck nuts? Well, tough shit, Jack. I'm at the big board, and you're not. Gareth Reynolds back today.
That looked like a running fish in a 5.
It's a Jesus fish. I'm trying to send a subtle shout out to some of my Christ peeps, my fellow Christies. By the way, Dave, at what point does Jesus come down from the sky? It feels like we're getting pretty close to his time. I mean, what is he waiting for? We're here.
No, I'm sorry. Actually, what happens is someone comes from under the ground. It's not actually coming from the sky. The
sinkholes were a signal to this, I think. I think it was Satan's way of saying, I'm almost ready, my minions.
Oh, yeah, we're much closer to Satan coming than Jesus. Like, that's 100% what this leads to. I mean, that's where we're going.
That's exciting.
I wanted to talk to everybody here about joining.
No.
And what we're going to do is we're going to go to an island, and we're going to pray. And I get to fuck everybody. And then after that, I haven't worked it out.
Are you going to do pubis tattoos? Because those are awesome. I love when someone says, just stop calling me an onion. I love when someone says that Jose is still sleeping. Jose is still passed out. He's not ready. What coverage maps are we looking at? Fuck me, Dave. Someone just said. I'm not sure why they said that. That could have been. Okay, my brother's live. My brother's with us, and my brother just texted me. Okay, I'm live. You big onion.
Hi. I'm looking at CNN. I don't know what map Gareth is looking at.
I was on MSNBC for a minute. I've gone to Fox News a little too, but it's all pretty much the same. The problem with MSNBC is the anchors are just fucking brutal. And I say that as someone who has watched Fox News this evening.
It's just, so Trump just crushed in Georgia.
He did. Crazy.
It's looking like he's crushing in Georgia.
Trump is at this point in Texas, looking like he's ahead in Texas. Looking like he's ahead in Wisconsin. Again, it's early in Wisconsin, but Texas, it's further along. So the blue, I mean, much like the last blue wave, it's not coming to fruition.
No, we can't say that yet. I mean, here's the problem: is a lot of these, a lot of the red states come in early. So I don't know.
They always say red staters come early.
What do they? Why would they say that?
Chuck Todd. For those of you who didn't join us at the beginning, this is our impression of Chuck Todd going down on his wife. I came outside the bed.
Oh God, it's so horrible. I'm
sorry.
Horrible.
Little Chuck Rod made burps. Sorry, honey.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, it's very interesting. I wonder if they're talking about. I can't hear CNN, but I don't know if any of these.
By the way, that's a blessing when watching CNN to not be able to hear it.
It's always, but I think that they should always be like, yeah, and here's how they tried to steal it here. Here's how long people had to wait in line.
Yeah,
here. Like that should be part of the election coverage.
They never contextualize anything. They just go really, really long lines. They don't go because it's total disenfranchisement. Dave, I actually have a very important update. The new season of Below Deck has started, and the new crew is a total. And I know I just flipped to this channel very quickly. The new crew, it's a whole new crew. Kate is not the chief stew anymore. There's a new bosun. It's still Captain Lee. But that's just crazy. Now, is that how you saw that playing out? Did you must have thought Kate would be back, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. What is Below what?
Below Deck, the new season. Are you shocked that Kate's not back as Chief Stew? And do you think that was a choice of production or Captain Lee?
I I have to vote Captain Lee.
Into the mic.
Yeah, no, Captain. Yeah. Yes, I would say it's Captain Lee's fault.
A lot of us felt there was tension. All right, Dave, back to the election that could swing our fates and fatalities. Okay. Indiana, we already know Trump is projecting Trump as one. So, Dave, can you get a full state count for us?
Of who's where?
Yeah, let's go state to
like
state.
the call. You want the called states?
I want the called states. That's what I want, because that's actual information. I'll go through some of these comments and see what we have here. Okay. Where's Will? Will's not here. Will's in bed, probably. The projected winner is coronavirus. I agree with that. Jose Mitch McConnell. Again, he's not Mitch McConnell. We need Will Anderson. People are calling for Will Anderson. All right, Tyler. We'll see you later. I don't know why you're leaving. Don't be a jerk off.
Lindsey Graham just won re-election.
God damn it. I mean, that's the thing. There was so much. There was all this sort of hope for a second that potentially, we could.
I never buy that stuff when it's a deep red state, and it has been for a long time, and then they've had a bunch of shenanigans in those places. I'm always like, yeah, that's not
well, or even then. I mean, even then, it's like it's an interim winner. It's like, I mean, not that Doug Jones is a good candidate by any stretch, but Doug Jones is going to get the floor mopped with him, because he marginally beat a pedophile, Roy Moore, the last election. And so now Doug Jones is going to get beaten now, because they really are just kind of coat holders until the next Republican comes in, because that's just what, that's the popularity. It is good.
There's nothing yet.
It is good to see, more Black candidates running in these southern states, but it is just, again, it's such a joke that we're unable to, that the South, like you were sort of alluding to earlier, is just we still live in this.
It's just all stolen elections. Like if everybody could vote in the South, like if everyone just got a card when they turned 18 and could easily vote, this would be a blue country. Like, it's not a thing.
And if you had a holiday if election day was President's Day, or you took away President's Day and made election day a national holiday, and you were not shutting down ballot drop boxes, and you were not shutting down vote. But I mean, the idea that there's less poll locations, there's more of us each election. Why are there less poll locations?
Yeah. Because they don't want people to vote. I mean, Republicans just don't want people to vote, and Democrats don't either.
Where are the Democrats
in the primaries? Well, they do it in the primaries. So
they totally do. The Democrats got the Green Party. I mean, and some people would probably defend this, but the Democrats got the Green Party kicked out of a lot of ballots in a lot of states. And the name of the party is a version of democracy. And here they are continuing to just push against it.
All right, I'm going to look at the Senate. So we know Lindsey Graham won, right? We know
Susan Collins,
one of the Democrats in Texas lost, which I guess isn't a huge surprise. Conyer or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Conyer? I don't know the guy's name. He's a douchebag. Texas douchebag. The gray-haired Texas douchebag. He
Cornyn.
Won.
Is it Conyer?
Cornyn, that's what it is.
Is it Cornyn?
Yes, it's Cornyn.
Okay.
I think that sounds right to me. So he won. Now, there's still a bunch up for grabs. Arkansas, Iowa, Alabama, Idaho, Arizona, Illinois, Georgia, Kansas, 2 in Georgia, Louisiana, and Virginia, Wyoming. No, North Carolina got called. New Mexico, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Montana, Mississippi, Minnesota, Michigan, Maine. Those are all of the Senate seats that are still not called. So there's a shitload,
and
that can still happen.
Not to be a douchebag, but with about 68% in Arizona, Biden has a nice percentage lead, but still there's more to come, obviously.
In which state?
in Arizona. Biden's up 55 to 43, 69.
This is the kind of stuff that you're here for.
69 is a funny number, Dave. Do you want to see Chuck Todd 69ing his wife? I finished in your mouth. This just in, my semen.
Apparently, a lot of Democrats are freaking out. That's what I'm getting. That came from the other room. My wife just walked in and said all of her friends are freaking out.
Yeah, that's what I'm having on my phones too.
I can't emphasize this enough. The Democrats picked a really bad candidate.
Yes, but Dave, we are all, look, we understand that we are weekend at Bernieing Joe Biden across the finish line of this race. But are you starting to think we might live under the reign of Donald Trump for longer?
No.
No, you're still there, which is where we need you. I think I speak for all of us. Yes.
I don't. It's so weird that on the way CNN is doing this is they're doing race to 270 starting from 2016 results. And so I don't know what the map means because I look at it and I'm like, what? Yeah. Why are you talking about? Why are you combining?
Well, because
why are you combining? I don't,
because there's not that much to talk about, and they have 9 people there. They want money. They want ratings. So they're like, what do we do? And they're like, well, let's go back. What were Grover Cleveland's numbers? Let's take a look at the Grover Cleveland map. Ironically, he did not win Ohio, where Cleveland is a city. Isn't that fantastic?
So let's see. Again, Florida's 94% in. That's pretty big. That's so probably going to go to Trump. But I always thought that was going to go to Trump. Like, yes, there's never been.
Most people who knew their dick from their thumb thought that Florida would go for Trump. I mean, that's just a given. And even with all the campaigning and stuff, it is shocking. But okay, and give us some more updates. And then why don't, just because we were talking earlier about how bizarre it is that our elections come down to Florida, why don't we give the people an idea of what is happening in Florida outside of the election at some point soon, like a Florida update, headline or something like that?
Yeah, I can actually give you one Florida update, which just happened.
By the way, it looks like McSally with 72, the Senate race with Kelly versus Martha McSally. McSally is now at 44.5. Kelly's at 55.5. He's the Democrat. That's 72%, and they say it's still too close to call.
Is that Arizona?
That's Arizona, yeah. Martha McSally is a huge Chuck Todd.
She had a. Is she the Democrat, McSally? No, she's the Republican.
No, Republican. She's incumbent as well.
She had the really bad debate thing that everyone was talking about.
Well, not as bad as Joni Ernst, who.
No, that was remarkable. Ernst, and then the guy in Georgia, Purdue, I think his name is. He got beaten so bad in a debate that he didn't show up for the next one. He was like, I can't do that twice. You guys saw what happened, right? I was so fucking bad that I just don't want to go. Or I could go and then I could just not talk. Like, I could watch it. That could be the other thing for the second one. What if I watch and then you just talk?
Wait, okay. So give us an update on Florida, Dave. So Florida, very strange state, as we know, comes down. A lot of elections are decided by the state of Florida. But Dave, let's have a headline from Florida.
So there's almost 11 million votes in, and they are separated by 300,000. Trump's ahead by 300,000 votes. 94% are in. So he's kind of locking that down. Mm-hmm. This is when you start to go, I don't know if that's going to happen. But again, it depends on where, like, are the votes coming from cities? If they're not all coming in from cities, then he could easily overcome that. So I don't know. Like, you could also get this thing where, 500,000 votes get dumped in, and all of a sudden it's super close. So
right.
I don't know, but I don't think he's going to win.
Okay.
Florida.
Okay.
Then none of the
That's
other
crazy.
races. I mean, North Carolina is the other one that's at 88%, and it's fucking dead even. Trump
Really?
is up by 30,000, and
That's
there's 3 million votes in, so he's up by 30,000 votes.
hmm. It
And
is
then the other
shocking
state
how
with a
close
lot
these things
in is Texas has a lot in, and a lot of people thought that he could win Texas, and I think I
Biden.
called them all morons. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was never going to win Texas. So those are like the.
Okay, but
It's
give
so
us a
funny.
Florida, Dave. Give us a Florida headline just to give some perspective on what Florida is like when it's not
Sure.
election season.
And this was just from 3 days ago.
Okay.
A Florida man paid $150 for a full contact experience with a black leopard.
Oh
Now, if you
my
don't know what
God!
that black leopard is,
that means full release, right?
yeah, full release. I mean,
The leopard paws
if you're
sort
doing
of
full contact,
gives you the
like that
genie
means
lamp treatment.
so
Come on,
the
genie.
guy's 50, and he he has
Wow.
he pays a guy to quote play with it, rub its belly, and take pictures.
Oh my God!
And then the owner unlocks the cage, and the dude sits down on a bench,
But let me
and then
just
the
stop you
leopard.
right there. Let me stop you right there. Who is gonna Forrest Gump around a leopard? Who life is like a box of chocolates on a bench while there's like a black leopard being released?
You got to know, out in nature, if a leopard sees someone sit on a bench, that's like hollowed ground. They're like, okay, that
No,
guy's
for
on a
sure.
break.
He
So if like
is that whole bench.
if like an
That's
antelope sits on a bench, the leopard is like, okay,
No,
so
that
this is
antelope is on ghoul. We cannot eat him. Wow, you are so wise, leopard. Okay, so he sits on a fucking bench.
then the leopard growls and bites him on the head and his ear. And here's why, and I'll break it down for you why, because he's a leopard and that's
Right.
a guy.
And the man sat on a bench.
That's right.
Now, do you pay before or after this experience? Is my
I
question.
think you pay before, but if you come, you
Absolutely.
pay a
There's
little bit
no-
extra. You tip.
There's no doubt in my mind that in Florida, money is exchanged before this.
That's right.
There's no way that you're like, hey, let's do it after, because you're like, this leopard's probably going to bite your head and ear.
It's interesting. It doesn't say how much he paid. Oh no, $150. Yeah,
Yeah,
150.
You started with that. Okay, so that's an update on Florida, and
well, no. So he got injuries to
there's
his
more.
right side of his head and his right ear.
Okay.
His wife had to place part of his scalp back in place because it was hanging from his head.
That's a doctor's
his right
job.
ear was
That's a doctor's job.
His right.
That's the job of
his
a
right
doctor.
ear was torn. His right ear was.
Oh, so his ear's off. His ear's off.
In half. In half.
So
in
his
half.
wife essentially gave him a comb over, but of skin. So a skin over, where she was like,
correct.
"There you go." You can barely tell it. He's like, "It feels like I have a wing on half of my. It feels like my ear's a wing." And she was like, "No, baby. Now, where's that money? Did you pay it, or I paid it up front? Obviously." She goes, "Oh, it's flapping again."
So he's had 2 surgeries.
One to remove his brain and get a new one.
Yes, he told the police he didn't know it was illegal, and then he was very surprised. And the place is called Poggy's Animal House.
Sure.
And apparently it's been deactivated after this. The guy got 2.
Why is it illegal to do this? Well, you realize that half your head got eaten off. Yeah. Yeah.
He got 2 misdemeanor citations for allowing full contact with a dangerous animal.
Who got 2 misdemeanors? The owner of Pog's Crazy Park?
Poggy's, yeah, the owner.
Because nothing would make me happier than for the guy who got his head bitten to be like, "Sir, you're under arrest." But my head. So you're going downtown. My head is off. Half of my face is off. Sir, this is Florida. We're going to give you what we call the John Woo. We're going to just put Nicolas Cage's face on your face.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right.
so
anyway, so that's a fun update from
That's what Florida's like.
That's Florida, and that's who's really deciding a lot of elections for our country.
Biden's still up. Sorry, Trump is still up 30,000 in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Trump is up 250,000 in Ohio. So those are the states that are.
I mean, these are okay. So the thing that I think everybody was saying was, again, basically what they were saying in 2016 is that he has a narrow margin. There's a very small path that Trump can get. Right now, he is starting to thread that needle a little bit. Ohio, you know, I mean, some of these states, they were, I mean, certainly thinking some of these states would fall in some way for Biden. I mean, Texas, like you said, Florida, like we said, it's like those are kind of whatever. But Ohio felt very much in play. I mean, that was something they talked about a lot. He's up 250,000. You know, there's still like I said, like in Arizona, it looks like Biden's got a pretty healthy lead, or at least he did last time we checked. But I mean, I would say if you're, again, there's still a lot of these places can't count their mail-in voting yet. But but this is the red mirage.
No, the red mirage. Yeah, this could be the red mirage. Like, it looks like he's up, but as the votes get counted, he's clearly not.
Yeah.
And then he declares victory before midnight, and all of his supporters celebrate. And in the morning or the next couple of days, the election is called for Biden, and they think it was stolen.
Right.
So that's
going to be fun, and that's when we die, basically.
Yeah, that's when we all just die immediately.
Right. Okay, so the latest, yes. Yeah, I mean, on Twitter, a lot of it is Eric Trump is saying anyone can report issues. Yeah. So, okay. So I mean, it's just it really is. This election is so much harder. Right now, it looks like basically Trump is ahead in Texas, potentially ahead in Pennsylvania by 150, Ohio 250. I mean, yeah. You know, again, too early, obviously. This is just some hearsay. Trump has the lead in Ohio.
So I guess everyone is now saying Trump probably will win.
Really?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that now online.
Oh boy.
But, you know, I mean, who knows? I'm still, you know, the problem is that it's not going to be called for a while.
Yeah,
because
like
I mean, you said,
but you would, yes, for sure. I mean, you just would still hope that some of these were going, yeah, Twitter is in panic mode, someone just said, which is true.
But someone just tweeted, they're watching news, and they said the analysts on Fox are more optimistic about Biden than liberals on Twitter.
Wow, interesting.
Look, everyone has to understand that they're scarred from what happened last time.
Oh yeah,
and you're bringing that in. And for me, last time I was 100% sure that Hillary was going to lose.
Yes,
I don't have that feeling.
Pretty sure, yeah, I know, which is why I'm so interested, because I do have that feeling that he's going to win again. But you've been pretty clear, which I love.
Yeah, and look, there were a lot of reasons. There were a lot of reasons she was going to lose. She ran a terrible campaign. It's the worst campaign that a Democrat has ever run. She was focusing on places like Arizona that she was never going to win, and she was avoiding places like Wisconsin and Michigan where they were desperate for her to come, and she was just ignoring them. They were doing all this online shit. They had the least policy driven advertising in the history of the Democratic Party.
Until this one,
she was also really unlikable from the get-go. Biden's actually had some policy. It's not stuff I agree with, but some of it is policy that they were getting out there. Biden is a more likable person, which is 99% of it.
Far less disliked, without question, far less disliked. And I think, again, just to give a quick you know, contextualize the Clinton thing a little bit. Some people, I think, associate saying that Hillary Clinton was not a good candidate with not thinking that a woman, or that just not supporting a woman for president, or even women in politics, which is just not the case. The reality for Hillary Clinton was that everywhere she went, they were in a real predicament because she was less popular. She became less, like, she would go to these places and her numbers would go down, so they couldn't put her in certain places. So that really is the sign of a bad candidate. Whether you wanted her to win or you didn't want her to win is kind of irrelevant. I mean, she lost to Donald Trump, and that's what we're trying to avoid this time. Well, the reason why I've never had full faith in Joe Biden to win is, well, twofold really, but the main one is because the Democratic Party agreed to him. It's almost, for me, like when Dan Snyder, who is the GM for the Washington football team, whenever he falls in love with a player in the draft, I go, oh, I thought that guy was good, but it turns out he's a bust, because Dan Snyder is the kiss of death. If Dan Snyder drafts you in the first round, you're not going to work out in the NFL, in my opinion, no matter what I thought about you before. And that, to some extent, is how I feel about the Democratic Party. Whoever gets the ring kissed by the Democratic Party, if Obama, Tom Perez, Nancy Pelosi all turn their keys for the same candidate, that to me is not a validation or an affirmation. That is a flag and a potential defect, because it means this person meets enough bad quality metrics that the Democratic Party has said, yes, we will shepherd you in as our candidate. And it normally means their personal associations and their personal corporate beliefs take precedent and are above the actual belief system. Because Joe Biden actually does have a belief system, but it's one that he's kind of had to hide from, because he's been in government so long, because he's talked about cutting Social Security, because he's talked about thugs, and because he was part of the prison, the prison bill in 1994, and the Anita Hill hearings and stuff like that.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I just want to. Sorry. Yeah.
What are you jerking?
No.
Are you Jeffrey Toobin?
All good.
Are you pulling a Jeffrey Toobin?
I just saw it. Someone just said, really, now Biden has some policy, grow a backbone, and you shit all of this guy for 6 months. He has policies. They're terrible fucking policies. He has policies and he has touted them. They're bad.
They're bad, and they're tough. It's very tough for people on the far left like us, really, who are huge warriors about the climate, to listen to the frack off that goes on between Biden and Trump, where Trump keeps trying to pin Biden into this corner of he hates fracking, and Biden goes, whoa, 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 buddy, I love it. It's like very hard to hear that constantly and still vote for the person. So, you shit on his policies, but again, this to me it's not about electing Joe Biden. Joe Biden could be like two people in a horse costume for all I care. It's just getting rid of Trump is what I feel strongly about. And it sucks. It sucks that that's the option.
Look, the Democrats, after the election, they decided that it was Russia's fault, as opposed to doing a long introspective about policies and who they ran and everything that they did.
Well, Dave, what gave them the cover to never have to do that analysis?
Trump?
Russia gave the Democratic Party the option to never do a diagnostic.
Nobody knows that 2 days ago, the DOJ dropped their final report on Julian Assange. DOJ, sorry. Dropped their final report.
You're thinking about the Department of Gusto, which is also an interesting.
I love them. I love them.
We're going to do what we want. We're the DOJ.
They dropped their final Department of Justice report on Julian Assange and said that he indeed did not. There's absolutely no evidence that he stole anything. Or it was in cahoots at all with Russia.
And to just put a finer point on that very quickly, because I do think that one is important. A lot of people think Julian Assange is right now held because of some connection to Russia. He's not. The reason why Julian Assange is being currently held is because of revealing information that had to do with bombings during, was it Iraq? I'm pretty sure. No, it was under Obama, maybe. But it's totally irrelevant to the 2016 election. It again comes from the freedom of information, which is why it's shocking every time you turn on the news and do not see reporters saying, holy shit, this is going to fucking ruin the freedom of speech, because that is essentially the trial that Julian Assange is under right now and probably going to lose and probably going to die for. So, yeah.
But dying for it is great.
It's cool. I'm sure that's, for sure.
Am I wrong?
Well, don't you find it funny that every time some freedom person, somebody who's like, they take this leap of faith and go, I mean, it was sort of like the last Dollop we did in a way, where they go, once the people know the truth, I will be freed. And it's like the people know the truth. And then they're like, what did they say? And it's like, they were like, They were kind of like, whoa. And then, well, what did they do about it? They were like, wah.
There is a super crazy belief in that if people just know what's right, that they'll do the right thing, which history doesn't really back at all.
Yeah.
Really.
No, it doesn't. And someone's mentioning Edward Snowden, and Edward Snowden, yes, Edward Snowden has actually been vindicated judicially, but still, again, I think people feel very strongly about the Julian Assange thing, so it's not even worth getting into too much. But you know, you should normally just be on the side of people who are trying to get the information about war crimes out there for the most part. Anyway.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's, it's kind of babyish that you want stuff to get out there.
By the way, Dave, just an update. Fox News, Green Acres still on Nick at Night.
Oh shit! Is that true?
Do you know the theme song to Green Acres, Dave?
Do I know? No, I haven't heard it in so long. I tend not to keep up with that kind of thing.
Why in some states when they have 8% in, are they like, we can call it?
Because they know, number one, that the polling is so crazy that all, like, it's one of those, like in Oklahoma, you just fucking know, like, that no one, it's like California. Is Trump ever going to win California? No. So you get a few in, and they could call California before the polls close. It just isn't a thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good answer. That was a test and you nailed it. Okay, so it says still basically that Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida are up for grabs. I feel like that's a bit skewed. Huh?
Well, which one?
MSNBC is telling me that Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida are still up for grabs. But wouldn't it be great if there was like a news network that was like, we're just going to be really honest?
No, but I think that's right. I don't think those states you can call. I mean, this is the problem, is that everybody wants it to be over tonight, and it's not gonna be. And so
no, it's not.
This is going into Trump's favor. I mean, everyone on Twitter right now is saying Trump's gonna win, and these are liberals. They're playing into his game. They're playing right into his hand. He's gonna call the election before anybody else does.
Are any Democrats? I mean, it's probably hard for us to know, but if I were a Democrat, I would be out there right now saying something along the lines of what you're saying. Like, guys, this is what we said was going to happen. We said that there was going to be this thing.
The problem with the way that we're covering, I mean, you watch this, they're going county by county on these election maps. So if you're going county by county, you're trying to engage people. You're trying to keep people watching so that you can keep your ratings up and sell your ads.
It's working.
But the truth is that what they should tell us is, oh, you shouldn't watch this because it's not a thing. You actually shouldn't be paying attention to it.
It's impossible. I mean, it's essentially, it would be like the Super Bowl 2 weeks before, and I compare everything to football because that's how my dad related to me many times. But it would be like, I mean, that's what you do. You would say, I mean, it's why ESPN and CNN, they feed the same sort of hamster mentality of just like, give me something, give me anything, bad or good, give me it. I want something. And that's essentially what we're after. So
yeah, I think that's really what's going on here. Is people really everybody wants to, like, I mean, how long have we been
over tonight? We've been bludgeoned for years. We're ready to just have a moment to breathe.
we've been waiting for 4 years for this fucking guy to go away. We thought he was gonna die. Like that was just the best fucking day. I mean, go back to the joy that we all felt when we thought that Trump was gonna die. Like that was so fucking wonderful. And so everybody thinks they're gonna get rid of him. And that's a great thing. Like I really want to see him lose because I want to see his reaction. I want to see
you want to see it tomorrow.
I fucking hate his guts. I want him to go away.
Yeah.
But we know this election is going to take days to tally. So why? And again, I think our media is insanely irresponsible. And
you've always been one of those weird left people who doesn't think the media does a good job.
So why are they covering it the same way they covered past elections? They're covering it in real time when the results are not going to come in real time.
Yeah.
Like this is like almost media fraud that's going on right now.
Yes. Well, again, I mean, we know that we have a media that's completely complicit in all this. I mean, the media is our bridge to DC, and they're happy to be. They're just happy to have access. They think that they have convinced themselves, they have fooled themselves that in order to give us the news, they need to compromise themselves in the way that they report in order to get access to some information, versus the people who actually give us a ton of facts and actual truth in huge downloads, and that's too much for us. We would rather than parse out like little narratives. The CNN has really perfected the ability to keep breaking news on the screen all day, every day, without anyone going, "Hey, has anything ever stopped happening to you guys?" And they're like, "Nope, it's always been crazy." Like they'll have breaking news about like COVID is still running rampant in America. You're like, "Well, that's not breaking news. That broke. What are you doing?" Like they've basically kept their own. The news has basically come up with their own terror alert scale, and they kept it. They keep it at red now constantly.
I mean, a great example, John King, just on CNN. He touches the screen and it goes to that county. It goes to that state. It goes to that county.
Well, they love their touchy TVs.
He just touched the screen and took us to a county in northern Pennsylvania that is like 25% in. And I looked at the total. There were like 2,500 votes total. We're talking about a country of fucking 340 million people. And these fucking assholes are looking at a county that's never going to go to Biden. It's always going to go to Trump. And they're just touching it. Oh, look at this one. But it's just a dick show. This is a dick show.
Well, shouldn't that be the new name for the Senate? Shouldn't we just call it the Dick Show? Okay, let's see if we've got anything in the comments here. Jose is a seal, rude. Again, a lot of onion stuff. I just don't really follow. I think I understand what's happening. A lot of us put on local TV to see what matters close to us. Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, that's my advice to my father a couple days ago was, because my dad literally was like, "Will you not tell me anything until you know something?" He's like really going to be very upset if Trump wins, and as a lot of people will be, me included. But he didn't want to know anything. He didn't want any updates in any way. He wanted to just live in silence. When I break it to him, he will be. It'll be very tough for my father, without question.
I mean, look, the last election, I knew Trump was going to win, and I was working in Texas on a commercial, and I had to get up early the next 6 a.m. or some shit. And so I was like, don't tell me who won. I know who's going to win. If I really hear it, I'm going to be bummed out and end up watching the news. Just don't tell me. I'll find out the next morning. And my wife called me just to say goodnight. And then Finn from the other room was like, Trump won. And I was like, yeah, fuck. Now I'm going to watch the news. But there is no reason to know until it's over.
That's what my father's point was. That is what his point was. His point was, it's going to be bullshit, and I'm going to freak out, and I would rather just not know. I would rather just not know until there's something to know. And that is true. But okay, again, we the 24-hour news cycle, we need fixes. So do you have any updates? Your face just made an expression.
Oh, my wife brought me a cool, refreshing drink.
Oh, okay. It's very cool. It's very cool. I don't have a wife, so I'm going to need to refresh my drink very quickly. Do you have something you can talk about to the people? But do you want to give, can you give potentially, I mean, there's still lines at places. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's really crazy how we've, this isn't reality, right? So we've all agreed that I just saw winner Donald Trump, but it was just Utah. So I was like, oh God, he won
for
the election.
President. We're ready to call it. The winner is Donald Trump. My nephew just texted me the rudest thing. Anyways, Bruno, you're on notice.
But so we know this election is going to take probably a couple of days. And we know that in some states specifically, like Florida and Pennsylvania, and I think Wisconsin, they can't start counting early.
They can't.
So those are going to take a long fucking time. And yet,
and that's to answer your question, John Langdon, as far as the reported percentages of any outlets in the they're really not. There's just a lot of shit left to count. I mean, they are giving you right now most of this, not all of this, but a lot of this is mail-in vote or is in-person voting. Mail-in voting has not been counted yet, cannot be counted yet. So,
right, and the mail-in votes are going to be massively for Biden.
Potentially, yeah, they're supposed to be. But
in states like
why? I mean, we don't have the volume. Oh, Wolf Blitzer's up, Dave. It must be a full moon. He just ripped his shirt off and he sucked all the blood out of John King.
Oh, he's going to become a human.
Oh, John! Someone shot a silver bullet through Wolf Blitzer.
This happened last election.
Now he's turning back into the regular man he used to be.
Yeah, this is all the same.
He's a feeble little boy. He's a 6-year-old.
Yeah, it's the same thing every time.
Was a 6-year-old the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing every election.
That's how you get ratings. The hunt for Wolf. That's breaking fucking news, Wolf.
Oh, here's something that just in.
Okay.
Gareth is an onion.
No, that's not. We're not. It's not worth reporting. That's not worth reporting.
Gareth. Oh, sorry. You're right. Gareth is onion.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Someone also said Gareth Queen's English. So I don't know what I didn't say properly in English, but you can suck it. Do you know that?
Suck it?
You can go down on me like Chuck Todd. Dave, thanks for mentioning WW2. Oh, wait, I lost it.
West Wing thing.
Oh, Dave, thanks for mentioning on the West Wing thing that leftists in red states exist and live with the nonsense that the R force is on us and we don't like being patronized. Yes, we know that from doing shows in red states and having
yeah, we've talked to people. Look,
for sure.
The Democratic Party acts like the only thing that's out there are liberals and conservatives. But if you go to places like Kentucky, there are no liberals. It's mostly all leftists and conservatives.
No,
that's
and
what's
they
out there. And yet,
thanks to Dave for talking about how there are those of us who have parents that love Trump and are sharing your experience. Yeah, but yes, without question. I mean, that truly, the issue with the Democratic Party is that they have picked the percentage of the country they want to win. And that's why that's why it's not okay to voter shame people when they vote for Jill Stein. I know that strikes a chord with a lot of people, but it's not okay. They need to go for your vote with policy. They need to promise you shit that matters to your life. That's the idea of all this. Government officials are elected to make your life better, not remove things from your existence. You know, that's what they're supposed to do. This election and the last election are different because, yes, you have a real, I mean, obviously we have a real fucking threat in this situation in Trump. I mean, a huge, huge threat. Who knows what the fuck this looks like if he wins another 4 years, which means 8 years probably. But regardless of that, Mitch McConnell knows who he's going for. So does Nancy Pelosi. So does Joe Biden. So does Barack Obama. They're trying to carve out Republicans to come to the Democratic Party, not the left to join the Democratic Party. So when they're not, when they don't offer you shit or promise you shit, then what do you expect? Do you expect people to get enticed? Do you expect these people in Flint, Michigan to turn out for a politician that promises them very little? I mean, when what's his name? What is the guy's name who turned them from lake water to river water? Rick whatever.
What?
The guy the governor of Michigan who turned the Flint, who poisoned the water.
Schrader, I think, or Schroeder.
No, it's not Schroeder. Rick,
isn't it?
No, I can't remember his
Rick?
name, but it's Rick something.
Snyder.
It's Rick
Snyder.
Snyder. Rick Snyder. When Rick Snyder endorses Joe Biden and Joe Biden doesn't go, I don't want your endorsement, fuckface. Well, that sends a pretty shitty message. That says, you know, that's like when David Duke endorsed Trump and he was like, I've never heard of David Duke before. Like everyone was like, yes, you have. Well, it's the same thing with Rick Snyder. I mean, this is a guy who, for profit, because he's a corporatist, switched the water to Flint to give them lead water, and you've never heard it talked about again. You've never heard any Joe Biden never said, I'm going to switch the water back to river water or back to Lake Michigan. That was never said. So, you know, you to some extent, they've made a calculated decision to not try to carve out certain people. This election, again, is different because people like us obviously have gravitated towards what we have to do, which is get rid of Trump for now. But even then, the party doesn't start if you get rid of Trump. I mean, there's still lots of setting up to do. There's still so much work to do to move Joe Biden away. And by the way, if Joe Biden does win and doesn't actually start to do some shit, if he just does try to coast his way, it's over. There will not be another 4 years of him, despite his age or not. There won't be 4 years of Kamala or anything, because they will have nothing to run on, and then it's easy to poke holes through that. And that's what always happens.
I'm just here to listen. I like what you have to say. I want to subscribe to your newsletters, all of them. You do
Dave,
4, right?
Dave, thoughts on your father not being around for this one?
So great. Look, my dad, if he was alive, he would have voted for Trump, and he would be saying how good Trump was and how Trump is going to stop the Mexicans. So let's just all take a moment and just say how great it is that my dad is dead and not able to participate.
Dave, sorry, our sponsor Campbell's Soup just dropped out. Chris has a question, which I think we kind of just addressed, but do you guys think that Biden can be bullied into moving left or on anything, or is it truly just the lesser of two evils? Well, look, it depends. It would take a shitload of work and a shitload of reality checks to move Biden to the left. So that's what we're sort of saying, that if he does win, it's not time to go, we won. It's time to go, hey, we have someone we can maybe try to. But Joe Biden is set in his ways. There's no room for progressives in his cabinet. There's just, he's given little wiggle room. So it's going to take protesting outside of the fucking White House and really, really, you know, making the Democratic Party scared, which people just can't seem to do. So it's an uphill battle. The reason why, Nina Turner 2024, 100%. Nina Turner had probably the greatest comparison for this election. Voting for Trump and voting for Biden is very difficult. Voting for Trump is like eating a bowl of shit. Voting for Biden is like eating half a bowl of shit. So, and I tried to make a comparison similar and it fell short, I think. But that is a good comparison. You'd rather eat less shit. So that's what essentially it is. So that's why, you know, we want less shit. But eventually we'd love to eat like some pie or something.
I like pie. I mean,
pie's good.
A pumpkin pie, a cherry pie, whatever. Just give me a fucking pie. Here's an interesting comment.
Okay.
Someone said Michael Moore said he heard that nobody from the DNC bothered to campaign in Flint and asked him what they should do. And he told them, and they told him to fuck off when he said replace the pipes as a campaign promise. That's the kind of stuff.
So easy. But
that's how you win elections.
I believe that Biden and Obama did go to Flint. I believe they went there yesterday or the day before, maybe.
It doesn't matter. Just
Biden
fix
won
the
Illinois.
fucking situation.
Biden's got Illinois. I don't know if that was called.
Oh, that was always going to happen.
Well, that's my breaking
I mean,
news,
look,
asshole.
the Democrats have an issue where they're not offering anybody anything, and they've been doing it for a really long time.
And it's the goal of both parties. If you get into government, your goal is to get there with carte blanche. It's on us to force policy.
Why are they saying someone? Why did a guy donate for $400? Why?
Holy shit! Well, what did he say?
Did the guy mean to do that?
Let's suck his
someone
dick.
just said. Someone just said they felt sorry for him. I just saw that. I'm not paying attention to the donations. I really appreciate that.
I'm paying attention just to comments jump out. But can we see Dave's puppy? What are you guys drinking? I'm drinking whiskey.
Was that an accident? Did he do
Was that an accident? If you want your money back, you can do that. Exactly. Biden yells at leftists to vote for Trump. Yes. I mean, look, we're not trying to shit on Biden. That'll be for if he wins.
But there's a problem with the Democratic Party, and it needs to be addressed because it's going to lead us.
There's a problem with the government. The government has been taken over by corporations. So we are now basically shaking a body of a zombie, asking for Grandpa to come back. It's just, it's not how it works. So you can keep shaking the body, but Grandpa's gone. He's not here anymore. He's a zombie person. There's not an antidote. The only thing you can do is try to move them in a non-brain eating direction.
So the only thing I can get here is that this guy Daniel, who gave us the 400, he said, is it spelled Gareth or onion? And he wants you to clear it up, and it's spelled onion. And I think what he's saying is that from now on he's given this money, and he would like for you to be called onion, which I sort of agree with. Take
your money back, asshole.
I sort of agree with him.
I'm not gonna have, this is not my OnlyFans page or whatever the fuck it's called. Okay, you can't just throw $400 at me and tell me to be an onion. All right, now if you'll excuse me, I don't have a wife to hit in cocktails.
What just happened? All right, so I guess we've had Illinois called, we've had Colorado called, we've had New Mexico called. For people freaking out a lot, there still aren't, like, right now North Carolina is 60,000 to 60,000. There's 90, I think it said 94% in. That's still, we're talking 60,000, like that can easily be overcome. I'm just not. There's a bigger way to Biden winning still than there is for Trump. I just think the Democrats got really fucking stupid, and I actually saw people going, "We could flip Texas," and you're like, "You're not gonna fucking flip Texas." Like, just focus on the fucking shit you can win, and do that. Because unless you're gonna have a really broad sort of leftist policy in which you could bring out 30% new voters in Texas or something, and you could actually flip that state, but you're not going to flip that state with the same old politics because you haven't and you never will. There has to be some sort of roadmap for you doing that. You don't just all of a sudden get to do it because there's a fascist. I'm still, I'm just not worried at all. I know people are freaking out, but like Wisconsin, it's at fucking 40%. And it's just, that's just not.
By the way,
scary.
If Biden was up, I mean, again, not that we should buy into polls any longer, but he was up like 11 points in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but again, in polls, he's up 11% in some of those places. If they win it, it's because they stole it. There is no way Trump just randomly wins an election being down by this much. The polls aren't wrong this time. They've adjusted their polls. But also, at what point are we just going to go, well, this is just fucking bullshit. This just doesn't fucking happen where you're down in the polls, you're a fascist, 240,000 people are dead, and then, everybody decided to vote for him. I'm sorry. Like, it's just fucking reality that, like, no, that's not a thing.
But in the exit polls that I was hearing about earlier, I can't remember from what state. I wouldn't call it national or anything like that. But do we know if Nithya is winning, Dave?
Nithya, no, it hasn't. I don't think they've closed yet. Did they close? I think
no, they probably haven't closed yet.
I have to look up what time California closes.
But in certain polls, coronavirus. This was like the most bummer thing I heard today. For people voting for Trump, coronavirus was number 5 on their list of priorities. And do you want to know what was on number 6? The only thing that was below it was racial justice or some sort of racial.
Oh yeah, of course.
So the
hand in
yeah,
hand.
yeah. So the problem, yeah. Again,
Someone asked.
go ahead.
Someone asked who Kamala would pick as VP. Well, that's obvious. Pete Buttigieg, the other worst politician that you could pick.
Well,
the man with absolutely no ideas and no thought, and
to be fair,
vacant
is very Obama because he talks in platitudes. But also, when we talk about the how objectionable the idea is that Trump would potentially call this election early without knowing everything, let's remember that's what Pete Buttigieg did in Iowa with no actual proof, having not won the state, muddied the waters by saying he had won it. So, you just have to hold these people to the same standard. It's so easy to justify bullshit behavior on your side. And it's so simple and it feels good, but it also creates this double standard where, as a comedian, if I were to say, I hate when someone does anti-woman material, I think that, is terrible. And then I have an anti-woman joke and I defend it because, well, no, because that's not how it works. You have to have one standard, and you have to have one standard for your political parties. You have to be able to say, and you have to be able to be honest enough to say that when Donald Trump does something objectionable, it's objectionable. When Donald Trump does something that's okay, it's okay. When Joe Biden does something objectionable, it's objectionable. When he does something okay, it's, you just have to. If you don't have that ability, you will forever be wrought in this duopoly two-part system that is just fucking pro wrestling. We are just watching pro wrestling where you like the Ultimate Warrior and someone else likes Hulk Hogan, and it's just the way it is, and it's scripted, but we're still going to invest our emotions in the bout, and when it's over, we'll be dejected, but we know there's another WrestleMania come. It's just you cannot keep doing this. It's why it's so fucked.
Someone asked why Kamala Harris is bad.
Don't even. Look. Well, let's just not get into it too far.
I won't go into it too far, but
okay.
I lived in San Francisco in the 90s, and we had at the time the most progressive district attorney in the country. He just didn't prosecute people for small drug charges. He just didn't believe in it. He would just let it go. Kamala Harris ran against him, saying that he was not tough on crime, pushing all the stats of how many times he had let people for smoking pot go. And then she won, and she implemented draconian rules in San Francisco, and shitloads of young Black people went to jail because of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris also backed, when she was Attorney General, she backed the current DA in San Francisco who was separating children from their parents, immigrants and otherwise. Also, arresting parents for having truant kids. So your kid's not going to school. So what's the best way to handle that? Oh, arrest the parents and put them in jail.
The manner in which she delivers a lot of this too is also a little it's of course I'm going to arrest. It's like
and then also she argued in front of the court that people should be kept in jail longer than their sentences because California needed the labor in the prisons.
That's the one that always drives me crazy.
There's a lot of them, but the worst one is our current Secretary of the Treasury,
Mucci,
committed fraud, and he ran a bank and he just stole people's homes, and her prosecutors recommended that she prosecute him, and she didn't, and now he's Attorney General. And at what point are we going to hold accountable Democrats for allowing fucking monsters to get away with shit and then become Secretary of the Treasury, president? When do we hold them accountable for being fucking shitty. She's shitty. And
the
she also
problem.
reverses her policies constantly. I don't know what her fucking policies are.
Well, I mean, look, when she was running, she was for Medicare for all and anti-fracking for a minute. Then when something changed and advisors changed, she was pro-fracking and no longer for Medicare for all. And so you have to ask yourself, what do you want in someone? Don't you just want someone that has a belief system? That's why Trump won. His belief system is total garbage, totally made up, not true, not what he really believes. He's been all over the map, but he spoke to people and he's stuck to some bullshit belief system. That's why Bernie Sanders was popular. That's why Elizabeth Warren is popular. You want people who have receipts for what they did and what they believed for a long time. And you don't want someone who during a campaign is going to change what they think. Okay, the good news is the feeder went off. We're moments away from Jose. We are moments away from Jose. We are moments away from Jose. Rec Turner, thank you both for tonight as well as the countless hours of content. As Ozzy, oh, very nice. Thank you very much, Beck. So we're moments away from Jose. Dave, Joe Biden won California. Holy shit, it's over.
Baby.
It's over. That's the end of the ball game, baby.
Okay, so we needed this to happen because we needed Trump to be behind. What we need
Oregon
is...
too, the dominoes are falling.
So this is good because we need Trump to stay behind so he can't do the red mirage, which is to come out and declare himself the winner.
It's called the orange mirage. Listen, everybody, I got great news. I just figured it out. I won everything.
Okay. So that's good. We need a little more bit of that.
Now, what's interesting right now, Dave, is Biden's at 192. Trump is at 180. They need 270. If they were to just come together and say, hey, let's do 300 together and be co-presidents, the world would just be an unbelievable place. Why are you against that?
To two presidents, co-presidents?
What the right? I'll ask it again from the top. I'm trying. He's an idiot. Dave, right now, Biden has 198. Trump has 102. The numbers are changing as I say it. Now, why not say to each other, we can reach 300 together like a BFF necklace that sort of interlocks? Why can't Trump and Biden sort of interlock their electoral votes and be co-presidents? Why are you opposed to that?
So two presidents, co-presidents?
You fucking asshole. We like bits here on the Dollop election coverage. Okay, Arizona with 75% in. Biden has a healthy 8.7% lead. Dave, right now, Wolf Blitzer's walking over to John King, which lets me know some shit's about to go down.
Oh, really? Is there a walk happening?
Dave, we're going to go.
Oh, my God.
Dave,
I've seen this on the West Wing thing. A lot of stuff happens when people are walking.
I'm on the floor of CNN right now, and Wolf Blitzer has just walked over to John King, where John King's on the monitor. It's clear some shit's about to go down. Back to you in the studio on the toilet.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I like it better. So let me just say
this. But by the way, very quickly, Dave, and I know, well, it's so stupid to even report on Wisconsin or Pennsylvania right now. But even in Wisconsin, 43% in, where they have not been able to count their mail-in ballots, it's tight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. In this place,
some people say it's so tight, Trump's going to try to grab it without its permission.
I mean, if it's so, the other thing that they're doing on these fucking maps is they have red states and blue states, right? And then they have
it's like Sesame Street
and pale red.
We are
like,
5-year-olds.
What the fuck are you doing?
I know.
It's really is like it
pale. All right, hold on
because then you're doing like a state that has a fucking 10% in. You're like, oh, that's a pale red.
Here we go. It's Dave, I've got a big update.
Lord.
A big update.
I didn't know he's gonna wear a tuxedo tonight.
I got a big update.
Wow, that cat loves you.
Yeah.
And talking about big, Jesus Christ.
That's badunkadunk, baby. What's the matter? You don't like badunkadunks? You got an issue with donkadunks? This just in, 16 pounds, 16 and a half pounds. Come here. Come here, buddy. I know it's a weird thing.
It's I wonder, is everybody freaking out online because it isn't being explained like by each state?
What do you mean?
Are the networks explaining like, well,
No, they're
this
not
state
explaining the
still
mail-in
has,
voting stuff. No.
then what? Then they're literally playing into Trump's hands. This is how it fucking happens. They're not doing their fucking job. Every time they go to Wisconsin, they should say, and there are tons of mail-in votes, and the mail-in votes all favor Biden. That's what every single fucking thing coming out of their mouth should be.
No, don't get on there. Yeah, I agree. They have not done that at all. Oh boy, not sure what's happening here.
Oh, fuck that cat.
Well, he's trying to, hold on. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. He hit his hip.
This is unprofessional.
He for sure hit his hip. He doesn't seem bothered by it, but he made for what I would call a very parkour jump. He seems fine. Okay. All right, everybody. That's Jose. He's the field reporter. His hip is fine. This just in, his hip is fine. Yeah, but they're not giving that context, which is so bizarre because they've been so prepped for this. And they're not saying,
but they're not prepped for it because if they're
are
prepped
they
for
saying it? I mean, I don't have volume on.
How are you doing? So we know how many mail-in ballots came in, right? Like we know the number, but so how are you doing this thing where you're still doing the county thing? Because if you're doing it by county, oh, this county came in, this county came in. Well, then you'd be doing it like that's what you do when people go into a polling station and punch a thing and leave, and then you count it. Like that's why that exists.
Why? Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Someone just said CN is talking about it. CN is talking about mail-ins and not knowing the final results. CN is talking about mail-ins and not knowing the final results. Daniel said it twice because he's not fucking around.
Okay, so they are saying it. I was just going to say MSNBC should be saying that. But they should have it also, I mean, it should be a graphic.
Yeah, it should be a graphic. This is not, again, no election should be handled like this. There never should be an election where you're slowly watching the shit come in. It should just be, and
someone
now the
says Fox called Florida, but how can they call Florida? Well, no, because they get ballots same day. They count their mail-in. They've been counting their mail-in.
Well, Fox did, but other places haven't. I mean, look, Fox is always going to.
But when has Fox called an election early in Florida and it's cost someone anything?
Hold on. So let's talk about Florida.
Oh boy. Oh, we got another Florida headline.
So, well, here's the big thing about Florida. You're Joe Biden, and you have a choice when it comes to all of the Latino people in Florida, and you pick as your surrogate to the Latino community Ana Navarro. Now, Ana Navarro is a Republican. Reagan Republican. Her father tortured and murdered people in Central America. He was in the Contra fucking shit. He's a fucking bad guy.
Jose's eating his hair in his hammock. He's eating his own hair.
Updates here are weird.
I know. I'm sorry. Now I feel like Ana Navarro watching her father. Go ahead.
So, if you're a person who has moved to Florida and you're from anywhere south of the American border, how many of you are on the right? I mean, I'm sure there's definitely a lot of Cubans and Venezuelans, but what about all the other people? Are they all just right wing? If they're not, then why did you only send a right wing person out? Also, I've talked to people within the Bernie campaign. The Bernie campaign worked for over a year, making inroads with Latino communities all over America. And that's why Bernie had 70% support among Latinos. And that's why MSNBC and all the other news channels didn't talk about it after Biden won with minority support. Well, he never had Latino support. And that guy, the guy who was the outreach guy for Bernie's campaign, he continually went to the Biden campaign and said, "Let me help." And they said, "Nah, So when Biden loses Florida, it's
Yeah.
because they didn't try to win.
Well, yeah, yeah. And that's, I mean, again, you have to you have to offer something. Like, it's just the both parties just have their givens. Religion, race, whatever it is, they have their givens where they go, well, we don't need to worry about that. That's a lock. And that's just not how you get someone to work for you.
Yeah.
That's why you pay contractors and you parse it out.
Yeah.
That's like how jobs work. That's why I do something, I get a check later for doing it. That's how it works. You get you don't pay someone with your vote before they've done the work for you with their promise.
So Florida is a real lost cause because essentially you had
Let's hear a Florida headlines.
two people battling it out over the rightist votes, the right Latino.
Again,
and that's not, again, you're leaving a lot of votes just laying around, and
you
it's
are.
just
I mean,
tiresome.
we don't know what it would be like if you ran Bernie Sanders against Donald Trump. We don't know.
No, I
for
don't.
sure, because there would be a lot of scare tactics going on. But he would play to the people who are on the bench waiting to go in the game, who have never been given any reason to vote. They would vote. And what that would look like is, yes, it would be a different electorate. It wouldn't be a lot of white people, but it would just be gains in all these different ways. And we've never been given the opportunity to actually find that out because Bernie Sanders scares the living shit out of the Democratic Party. That's why it's frustrating that Bernie Sanders is a Democrat.
So someone asked, do you have any advice for teen socialists who've only known this political mess? Yeah. So socialists have to start with unions.
Yeah.
That's where our power is going to come from. And we have to create unions everywhere. Everywhere has to be unions. And then those unions need to work together to overthrow the system. I think if you're a young socialist, this is super disheartening, particularly with climate change coming. But this is a system that's collapsing. This is a tragedy. I mean, the fact that this is even something that people are worried about, Biden winning, that's a fucking tragedy. Like, it's really, I mean, we're talking about a completely incompetent man who wears diapers, who rapes women, who has the worst environmental policies we've ever fucking heard of, who is just a mean, vicious human being, who during COVID has purposefully let people die, and you can't trounce that person. I mean, this is a system in collapse.
And again, that you'll never hear the system tell you that it's fucked. It just won't do it.
No.
It's like a drug it's like, that's why on intervention they have to have the intervention, because the drug addict doesn't want to go to rehab. They're too caught to the fix. And that's why you have to say to the system, you're broken. It's over.
Bad system.
Anymore. Yeah. You create your own bottom. The movement for the People's Party, someone just asked about.
Yes.
Is great. And that
every person should leave the Democratic Party and switch over to the People's Party.
If you've not looked into the People's Party, that is, again, there's something so great about when you hear people speaking your language, the things that you thought, as far as why are you so frustrated with the political process. It's one of the reasons I still watch Real Time with Bill Maher, because I hate everything about it, but I find it so funny to watch Bill Maher continue to not understand that they're not interested in solving the problem. So it's just this person, it's like a person shouting at a tree. It's just so enjoyable to watch still, because it's like, yeah, dude, because it's like when you actually hear someone, like people in the People's Party, who actually speak to the problems and know what's wrong and know why it's fucked up. It just resonates with you to your marrow. Your marrow, David. Your marrow.
Yeah, Bill Maher is a fucking monster. I mean,
it's
the weird
crazy.
thing for me is
It's
all of this
crazy.
stuff.
And the guests he has, you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I would actually walk away. People are talking about the Green Party. I would walk away from the Green Party just for the simple they failed. And they haven't failed because of Democrats and Republicans. They failed on their own. You can't start top bottom. You got to start bottom and go up to the top.
Party,
and
the Green Party also, the Democratic Party did fight the Green Party and fights the Green Party.
Yes.
Harry Hawkins, I believe, is the nominee this time. Yes, do you know that? I think that's who it is.
Harry Hawkins. Not
Harry Hawkins.
Howie
Hawkins. That's it. Sorry. And the People's Party feels like a new version of something that is.
You need something new. You cannot go with something
and how
that
easy
is.
If you get the People's Party going, how easy is it going to be to take the Green Party and just take I mean, it's just that everybody's looking for the same thing, which is an alternative, and that's why it's not okay to blame Susan Sarandon for Donald Trump.
Oh my God! Stop blaming a 70-year-old actress.
Okay, so in Iowa, they're saying, too close to call still, but Joe Biden's up a little bit in Iowa. I did see something about Susan Collins being up, but that was early. I mean, if Susan Collins gets back in, what are we doing? What's the deal? What does it take? That was like.
Does anybody, with what we know about our electoral system, does anybody believe in it? Does anybody believe in our voting system?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, and it's very unfortunate because it's actually because it's a very easy path to tell someone that all they have to do is vote. It makes you go, okay, well, I have my job and it's this. Well, unfortunately, the democracy where that used to exist has been taken over by corporate power. And so the idea that you can just vote your way out of problems like this it's foolish. That's what we were talking about earlier in this, where it's like, why did the Democratic Party not figure out a way to have the right talking points to get people so furious about instead they were like, look, show up, go in person. I know it's dangerous, but if you're young, go in. Please go in. Please. It was like, what the fuck? You had 4 fucking years and you don't have the right candidate, you don't have the right platform, and you're also, it's just apathy. I mean, our apathy sets in and allows us to be like that. I'll say good luck making roads with the current unions. As a union worker in Kentucky, about 80% red. We're one of the few blue counties. Well, when you look back, it's really always been the fight for unions, right, Dave? And it's always been about the corporate power trying to take away the unions. And there are these eras where unions are strong and everything's good and there are rights. And then they start convincing people to make concessions and they start breaking unions down the way that you break government down just by kind of, trickle down economics, essentially through bribery. And essentially we have this ebb and flow of constant strong unions, broken up, terrible times, better times, shitty time, right? Essentially.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, that's exactly right. It's ebb and tide. Whenever unions are strong, America is doing better, and when they're not, it's just a shithole.
Yeah.
But look, we have to get rid of the electoral college system. We have to get rid of the fucking Senate. We have to get rid of the Supreme Court or change it completely. Yeah. This is a shitty system. This was the system that Chile had, and it led to Pinochet. This is just not a good system of government. It never has been. It never will be. It's fucking stupid. You have what? Democracy and a king? Like, it's fucking dumb. It's just dumb.
I mean, that's the whole thing, right? I mean, the whole reason this country was founded was to escape monarchy. And then you have people now who are saying, like, look, if he's the king, I'm in. It's like, fuck. I mean, we cherry pick our history so well to make us say that these people were perfect. And then every time you peel back a layer of the onion, and I should know, you just go,
you're the onion.
On the onion. You just go, man, it's all flaws. It's just all flaws. And we found like 30 good things, and that's what we still hold on to. And even if you're a traditionalist, you can just cherry pick terrible things, I mean, it's just so easy. Anyway.
So Trump is still way up in Pennsylvania, but again, 44% of votes, We know that the main place Biden's votes are coming from, which is Philadelphia, is not being counted. It's being counted super late.
Yes.
That's going to be a state that probably goes to Biden, but it's not going to go to Biden till like fucking Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Trump can't win without Pennsylvania. Like then he's just fucked. Like he's probably not going to win Pennsylvania. And right now it looks like he's winning Pennsylvania.
Well,
that's all we're seeing on the TV screen.
So in any, I know, and it is, yes, it's nuts. It's nuts the way they do it. I mean, it is going to, Trump certainly is going to have the ability to make the case that he's won some of these key states, but he's still electorally, what is the count now? Do you have the count?
It is, God, they just took it off. It's 192 Biden, 114 Trump.
So he doesn't have a case right now to say, I mean, he just doesn't have a case right now. Even with them doing all this, there's no case. Potentially, we're going to see more of a case over the course of the night with what their graphics and shit. But like even Minnesota, trumps up a little bit. But the mail-in voting, Wisconsin mail-in voting, Pennsylvania mail-in voting.
Yeah. And mail-in voting is going to be massively
huge.
For Democrats. We know it's massively for Democrats.
Record-breaking numbers, without question.
And the Republicans are going and voting on the day because it's easy for them and they're white. It's, this is a perfect setup.
By the way, if I could bring an AK-47 to vote, I'd wait in line. You can get whatever you want from someone. Can I get your hard-boiled eggs? No. Can I get your hard-boiled eggs? Yeah, here you go.
You should be able to go to vote with a lit stick of dynamite and say, how long's the line? Because this is a 10-minute fuse.
I got the 10 fuse. This thing's gonna. Well, I guess I'll just stay behind you. You don't mind? You sure? Oh, okay. Excuse me, sir. I have the. Thank you so much. And then you get to the booth. Man, I am torn on who I want for city council, sir. Man, it's just so many options.
Yeah, it's this is really a shit show. I mean, this is the shit show that we sort of thought. I'm wondering now, just looking at the number, you look at, although I don't know what Fox says, but looking at the 192 Biden, 114 Trump, and it's big up on the screen, and it's this giant thing that just hangs there. I wonder if he can come out today and say he won it, because
that's what I was. Yes.
I don't think he's going to be in the lead. That might have been a shit prediction on my part.
Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he trump it?
Because he can't, because he's the number. He looks like he's behind. There's that giant number on the screen. Just
come out and say, but we haven't started to count the mail-ins yet. I'm clearly going to dominate those. I'm winning.
Because he can't. Because he can't, because I mean, maybe he can. Like, he can do anything he wants.
Well, he's up. He's winning.
God. No, he's not. Right now, Biden is ahead 192 to 114. So that giant number that.
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking the other. I'm saying Biden should come out and say this.
Oh, Biden should.
Biden should 100% come out right now.
He should totally Trump.
I'm going to win. Yes, he should totally do that.
He should totally just say he won. Oh, that would be so fucking amazing.
Without the mail-in yet.
That would just be so fucking amazing.
The second that they talk Trump down from doing that, just fucking do it.
He would completely lose his fucking mind.
Have the balls to just be like, this is totally mine. Trump, pack your bag, He's winning.
Yeah. Arizona has been called for Biden. So that's 11
Amazing.
more.
That's kind of crazy.
That's a big state. That's a very big state. Now Trump Avenue is much smaller. It just got.
And by the way, to win that night of, that's a feat, and that's good. That's good. There's finally that.
Yeah, I mean, look, another good sign. Okay,
wait,
so
can I ask a question, Dave? You're wearing ER scrubs, right?
Yeah, I put on ER scrubs. I don't know how bloody it's going to get tonight. I figured I'd be out in the streets just taking care of people, because at nighttime I get out and I hit the streets and I'm a medic.
Yes.
Street medic.
Yes. Yep. You've been an SM for a while. Okay, keep going.
Oh,
Sorry.
SM for a long time. Yeah, go ahead. But I like to just tie up.
Don't tell me to go ahead. You're talking.
Shooting bloody things and anything that's coming up bloody. I like to stop
Especially, you've loved it during the pandemic most. That's when you've kind of enjoyed being around fluid.
Yeah, that's when I really get into my element, and I call it patching them up. I go out and I do my patch ups at night.
That's why everyone calls you Patchin' Adams.
That's right. I'm Patch Adams on the street. Patch Anthony, whatever. They do
but
both.
You're not as goofy. I get $3. Dave gets $3. Dave gets none of this money.
Oh no, I don't get any of this. This all goes to Jose's food.
Trump's doing better with race gender, except for white men, where he's down 5 points. Edison exit poll. Yeah, I mean, like again, there are. I might be drunk. There are. I mean, yeah, white people in general. I mean, are the problem with how we have gotten here.
Yes.
I mean, there's no
white people are why Trump is in office,
and why our government is so, consistent with getting worse and worse. I mean, continuing to spiral further and further. It's just, it is what it is. It's just this situation we've just become so apathetic toward.
Yeah, it's yeah. So there's 600,000 that are not in yet from Pittsburgh and Philly. So
yeah, and someone
thanks for that, Chris. Yeah. So that's going to be a massive fucking. I mean, he's going to win so many of those. That he would probably win at least 2/3 of those, I would imagine. Biden, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge number that comes over.
Yeah.
How do you feel about PBS News? I love it, but I'd be interested to see it. They don't. Here's the problem with all those news channels, the liberal news channels. They don't discuss classism.
They have. They don't. But
it's capitalist news, so they don't talk about how labor functions and how society has changed through the classes and it's just not happening on NPR and PBS and things like that. It's like it doesn't exist. So I think PBS is fine for what we have. I think CNN.
They're pretty good.
I mean,
PBS is pretty good.
MSNBC, Fox, they're all abominations in my opinion. So
Judy Woodruff
better.
Judy Woodruff is. I'm trying. There's that older little woman. She's fantastic. But they definitely at times, yes, they definitely at times play. Yeah, it's very hard to find actual news, to find somebody who has no interest outside of themselves or.
People keep asking what I'm drinking.
Limeritas, baby.
Is there any elected president that you like?
Yes, of course.
Who's your favorite?
I mean,
obviously, I love Scott Morrison.
Scott Morrison. FDR. I mean, FDR. FDR was fought on behalf of the people against his own government, and it worked. So that was that was kind of the last time we had somebody who was genuinely trying to help out workers and people who, that was really one of the last times it felt like there was a president who was just really, really trying. And again, I'm sure there's problems, but was really trying. I mean, that the transition from Hoover to FDR was very much like what we could potentially be going through soon. So, someone who really changed the makeup of the country, got the country to a place where it felt more equal for whites. Yes. But got it to a place where it was like, people were taken out of a depression and, were, fought against his own system. So, and yes, for whites.
Yeah, for whites. I mean, there are no great American presidents. Like if FDR hadn't put the Japanese in concentration camps.
Oh, that was him, huh?
Left black people out of the New Deal. Like there's a lot of bad things there, but
I didn't know he
he's
was
also
the internment camp.
yeah. So I don't think there's ever been a great president. I think
Would
America's
you
a pretty shitty country.
would you say JFK was on his way to being a great president?
No,
No.
no. I think he would have been. He's the one who started us in Vietnam. No, I don't think he was.
No,
a
he
good
didn't. Did
president.
he?
Yeah. He started putting guys in there, and then LBJ picked it up after him.
But wasn't he? But he was seriously pressured from the military to do a lot of the stuff he did. Like, if
Yeah, I mean,
do you think he was? Do you think he was? Well, let's not get into this. Okay, so yeah, it has been. See, Fox News is called Arizona for Biden. Other places have not called it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Trump has a huge lead in Pennsylvania with 46% in, but like we said, that's irrelevant because there's the mail-in voting. Trump has a huge lead in Michigan, but again, 44% in the mail-in voting.
Someone asked which foreign
By
government.
the way, doesn't Trump's picture, the one where he's genuinely smiling, look like he's pooping?
Yeah, he's definitely taking a shit. I mean, there are high odds that he was because he shits anywhere because he wears a diaper. Yeah, so he could always be shitting.
That's why I love when people are like, tough guy, big tough guy. And you're like, yeah, well, he poops his pants. Do you love that?
And I that's why I call him ABS, always be shitting. He's the ABS president.
That's right. Thank you.
So Aiden asked, which foreign government or aspects of different foreign governments do you think would work best if applied in the United States besides universal health care? I mean, universal health care obviously is the biggest one.
What about legalization of drugs?
I think that Americans don't understand. I think there's also just basic stuff. Like, I think if you took like what Barcelona does with cities, and they sort of put them into little zones where you can just walk around, and they kind of have little pockets of where you can just live in a community in a city, and you don't have to go out, so you can walk. And like I think if Americans started getting parks instead of parking lots, I think that it would completely transform the way we sort of view things. I think there's tons of things in other countries
beyond parking.
And those are small things, but there's also
small things. But like when we went to Iceland, like there was just so much that's free. There's so much free stuff. So think about how much more you would love your country if you paid the taxes we paid, but you didn't lament the process because you never saw any benefit. So imagine if your taxes went to parks and just, better streets, just free parking, just not constant little ways to screw $1 to $2 out of you constantly and wring you out. That is what other countries do. That's what they have in a lot of places that are not America. That's why it's so frustrating when the percentage of Americans that travel is so low. I mean, right now it's nil, but is so low, and it's like there's the best country ever. It's like, yeah, because you never left it. Like Red Lobster is the best restaurant you've ever been to if you never went anywhere else.
Someone just called me a numb tot.
You fucking asshole.
I've never even heard that word. New urbanist memes for transit-oriented teens, also known as numtot. Yeah, all right. I'm a numtot at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that public transportation and reconfiguring cities and moving them away from fossil fuels and to bikes and everything else, I think that can be one of the most transformative things in America.
Dave, sorry.
Change the way people look at.
Just going to jump in. Big news. Canada went for Biden.
Yeah, baby. I always had
Canada a lot of faith got in Biden, and that's 1,100 electoral votes.
Oh, I thought it was 4.
Sorry, I misread that. It's 4. Shit. And apparently it doesn't count. Oh, God damn it, Canada. When haven't you goofed on us?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that kind of stuff is a really big deal. And, and then the bigger things like, the tax rates, I think if people could ever live in a country that had high tax rates that actually took care of their population, I think it would be actually extremely popular in America. It's just never been done. Or when it was done, everyone was happy for the most part.
By the way, this country that fears socialism has many socialist things that, I mean,
a lot.
Social security. I mean, fire department.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's just things that are just. Well, you know how like when the fire department comes to your house, they don't go, "Will that be credit or debit?" You know how they just go put the fire out. As someone, my house burned down when I was probably 14, and one thing I learned from that experience is that it's very important that they get in there as soon as they see it. That's a key part to the firefighting.
I've always said that.
2, 4, 5 seconds really is a lifetime in fire time.
Yeah. I mean, when I set fires, they can take off so quick, especially when it's a sleeping family situation. Like, and then you're talking about it's not really seconds, but when I just throw the gas in there and set that shit on fire.
Dave Anthony, huge prick. My mother got interviewed the night my house burned down. My mother got interviewed by the news, and they go, "And what did you think?" And she goes, "Well, I didn't think anything because I know Americans love sirens." I was like, "Mom, why do you have to fucking throw shade?" God damn it! Just some shade.
Someone asked what a corporate death penalty would be. So corporations are people, right?
The Citizens United, baby.
But then they don't have the same punishments as people. Like if a person kills 10 people in America, well, that person gets a death penalty. So a corporate death penalty would be you take the corporation and you give it to the workers. So now the workers control the corporation and there is no upper echelon of anybody. So you fucked up PG&E as a corporation. Now all the employees own it and the employees run it and they make all the money. That's your corporate death. There's no more stocks. Everyone was investing in a shit fucking company. You're all fucked. You're all helping them out. Like would anybody be upset if we now punish the stockholders of PG&E who have killed so many people over the years? I mean, their body count is fucking insane. If you're still investing in them, then I don't care about you at all. We should take all of that, give it to the employees. There you go. They're dead. As a corporation, now they're a publicly a worker-owned corporation.
Socialism. Too much of it, Dave.
Sweet socialism.
Yeah, but there's companies that do that. I mean, there's actually a bread company in Wisconsin that you just don't need all the fucking money in the world. That's just what someone said, guillotines, which is rude and wrong. None of us would ever.
Someone also asked, I've seen this a few times. People's Party is a party like the Democrats. The DSA is not a political party. The DSA is an activist group that pushes to change policy and different things within their communities. They are not ever running candidates, whereas the People's Party would run candidates.
Like Jesse the Body Ventura.
Who could win Alaska, which would be hilarious.
Dude, I'll tell you, whenever that dude's name gets floated out there, I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm listening.
It's so funny because Jesse Ventura.
That's right, Dave. I'm looking to finally figure it out. It's time. I'm ready to run again. I'm doing Running Man, but this time it's better.
I think he would have won.
Do you even understand what controlled demolition looks like, David? I feel like you probably saw 9/11 and cried. I saw it and I said, what was the total the demolition expert gave?
Okay, so they got Ohio up here. 88% in. Ooh, Biden's probably going to lose Ohio, which is expected.
Not expected necessarily. Not expected necessarily. Maybe by you.
North Carolina, he's a 95% in, and Biden is down by 70,000.
Fucking A, man.
He is down in Iowa by 30,000 with 70% in.
He shouldn't win Iowa. I mean, the fact that
he should have won Iowa. Obama won Iowa twice.
Did he?
Like the fact that you can't just fucking see what they need. again, Trump gave all the farmers money, but also
I know.
climate change fucking ruined that goddamn state.
I know. Well,
Fucking
but the
ruined it.
tariffs too. The tariffs with China fucking fucked the soybean industry.
By the way, when you put up trade barriers like you do with China, and you destroy something, and you fuck up the economy, and then you give money just to farmers,
Yeah,
that's fascism. That's a form of fascism.
yeah, that's slipping the bouncer 20 to get in. By the way, John Hickenlooper has what I could only call a turkey chortle. Thoughts?
A what? A turkey? What?
Chortle, 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 chortle.
Glub, 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 glub.
Yeah, he's got like he's what I call, like, let's just say his neck looked like Chuck Todd would do this on it.
Yeah. That's actually a winning neck. If you've ever seen McConnell, he has a winning neck. There's a lot of.
I figured. Where do you think I store my evil, David?
There's.
You want to hear my impression of Mitch McConnell laughing? He sounds like when you remember when CDs used to skip.
Okay, here's BBC. This is from Bovine 365, which means this guy 24/7 every day of the year he is a cow. That's what Bovine 365 is. BBC quoting an election official in Philadelphia saying they have 350,000 postal ballots, have counted 75, and Biden is getting 16 of those to every one for Trump. They have stopped counting for the night. So that's pretty fucking significant.
Yeah.
That's a really big fucking number.
By the way, I just made the mistake of clicking on Nate Silver trending. Look, win, lose, let's all just shit on Nate Silver. It's just fantastic in every way. He just is the worst.
Somebody wants to know what tankies are. Tankies refer to what happened in Hungary with the uprising to overthrow, to get democracy back from communism, and the Soviet Union sent in tanks, and they ran some of them over. They flattened them. So what they're saying is that's how they would like to achieve communism.
Well, that's cool. What else is up?
Someone, Dave, important thoughts on Pogba. Jesus Christ, is he the fucking most worthless, talented player that exists? I mean,
well, he is
fucking the mistakes he makes.
There are athletes like that where you go, you're too gifted. They gave you too much, and you recognize that you could get your way out of any situation with your talent, and it's frustrating. Have you ever watched this guy Monfils play in tennis?
No, I don't watch tennis because
he's amazing. Anyway,
it's not manly enough. I like to watch really manly sports.
You ever watched Murder, the sport?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Where they kill the guy right away and they eat him.
Anarchism is interesting.
Whoa, buddy! You're on my YouTube channel. Let's just back the train up a little, shall we? Come on, let's keep it clean. Dave,
I'm sorry. What happened?
Favorite smoothie?
What happened? Oh, definitely raspberry. What happened with Nate Silver? What did he do? Why is he?
Just his predictions again are just bananas.
Oh, he said Biden was going to win this, right?
But also people are like, Nate Silver's aging horribly. It's a shame that it's come to that, but it feels okay to read. Well, even if
a lot of people don't know this, Gareth is onion.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I really want to. Look, Nate Silver is a little fax boy who stumbled his way into trying to be a pundit, and it's really just embarrassing. It won't stop. I need it to stop. It's sad. He says
But
really bad things.
he very much is like the Democratic Party, where he's just got this loyal base where you're like,
oh God, the loyalty of idiots is
that's a good book title. Loyalty of idiots.
Yeah, we should write that. I mean, that's actually a good title. We could probably sell it. So really,
Dave, do you ever find it strange that MSNBC, as correspondents and news anchor people, have hired George W. Bush communications director and Sarah Palin's campaign manager?
Wait, what?
Do you ever find it strange that MSNBC, the liberal news network, has hired Nicole Wallace, who was George W. Bush's communications director, and Steve Schmidt, who is Sarah Palin's campaign manager, and they've basically taken over the network? Do you find that strange? Does that make you think they've gone to the right and that the right has just sort of accidentally eaten the left?
It's just, yeah, I do. I think that this is the first time I'm learning of this because I don't pay attention to MSNBC, but that's really
cool, awesome, the best thing you've heard.
Really awful. It's the worst thing I've heard.
Weird take.
You know, here's the thing: when a society cedes all its power to billionaires, then
I don't like the beginning.
Takes on the personality of the billionaires through the billionaires' propaganda machines and laws. And billionaires are mostly psychopaths.
Yes, completely.
So when you see our society decaying and falling apart, that's because we are now taking on the opinions and beliefs of billionaires who are psychopaths.
Could you imagine having as much money as $1 billion and not giving away a fuckload of it?
I tried to explain billionaires to Finn, and he's 11, and so he's just like, "What are you talking about?"
In a lot of ways, is parenting like a dollop?
I mean, it is, because
you're just explaining to someone who doesn't have any idea what you're going to tell them.
Especially with kids, because you try to explain America on any level to a child, and they're like, "What in the fuck are you talking about?" Like, none of it makes sense. Yeah. They're just like, because at one point he goes, "Are there any good billionaires?" I go, "Do you think anybody keeping all that money while other people don't have money is good?" He goes, "No, they can't be a good person." Right. They literally can't be a good person. What? Steve Jobs. I mean,
Bezos.
God damn it, who's one over in the
Bill Gates.
Microsoft. Bill Gates.
Bill
Gates is not a good person. What Bill Gates is a guy who has donated so much fucking money to places like MSNBC, Time, fucking Philadelphia Inquirer. All that guy does is give money to news outlets, and then he gets awesome news. But he's not a good fucking dude.
But Dave,
he's a guy paying.
Wouldn't you agree that I also have tried
news.
I've tried to do so many other good things in other places?
Why have you been around Epstein so much?
Dave, just because you're around somebody doesn't mean that you acquiesce to any of their belief system. Surely you can understand that at times you've been associated with people who you don't respect at this point. Is that untrue?
Yeah, I'm just whatever you say now. How much do I get?
Dave, it's not about giving you money. It's about giving you a needle in your arm. Take the shot, Dave. Take my weird vaccine. I mean, my vaccine.
How much money do I get?
Dave, just take the fucking needle.
Bill, you're not even moving your mouth anymore.
I will kill you. The real Bill is behind you. Hello, Dave.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Did you ever think it was strange that I named my company after a small, unhard cock?
No, I actually got that. That was the first thing that I got.
That's what my wife's always dealing with.
Okay, Nithya is apparently leading, so that's good.
Come on, that would be fucking great.
At least can we have Nithya?
Well,
can we at least?
Please, and that's the thing. Just if you can locally elect people that actually make a difference, that's all that's going to matter.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
well, no,
locally,
we do need to not have.
But you do need to not have fascists in charge. But to have to vote for local governments is so much more important than people give it credit for. Will you agree to that?
No.
What an asshole you've become.
So what do we know? I mean, Dave, we could keep going with our coverage. We don't have a hard cutoff in any way here. But what as of right now,
It's interesting that
what do you
CNN
feel
is
like
not calling Arizona, but I think
neither was MSNBC. Fox did.
did MSNBC call it?
I don't think so. No, maybe I'm wrong.
So just Fox. So is Fox calling shit early? But
I don't know, but that would be so anti-Fox.
and maybe they're calling it to try to help the other states that Trump needs to call it earlier. You know what I mean?
Dave, sounds like you
Like
took
maybe
an
if they start calling more states earlier, then it helps them if it's not just for Trump.
But even then, it would be like, yeah, Arizona's still too early to call, according to MSNBC. So
Holy shit! Some guy
What?
just said we were one of the catalysts to convert him from socialist from Trump supporter. Well, fucking thank you for converting, dude. I mean, honestly,
that's fantastic.
really great.
Let's do this. Same team. That's what I said. We agree on like big major issues. 76% of us do. They just create these wedge issues that are nonsense.
Jeremy asked Dave, do you think Trump winning would actually be better to fast track the revolution? No,
I was making that case to my father, though.
I get it. No, I get it. I know why people say it. I just I'm not sure I buy that. I think that, you know, when you talk about the revolution under Trump, you got to figure out how to stop his army, which is ICE, the police, Border Patrol, Department of Homeland Security, all the prison guards. Like when those guys are unleashed, they're really going to be unleashed, and it's not going to be good. And they want to kill us. They're really into it. Like they're very excited.
But do you think that there is? Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to imagine transformation outside of something like that, though, in a way, isn't it?
I can see leftists hitting the streets. I cannot see liberals hitting the streets in the way that they need to, which is a violent thing where you destroy property and have to hurt people. Like that's what a revolution is.
Yeah.
But there's no way America rolls over. So a revolution against Trump is a violent affair. And I think that the other people sit it out.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. But regardless, I mean, we need dramatic change so soon that this is a good question. Andrew Bell said, what's the most amount of money a person can have and still be a good person, assuming they donate $0? Well, donating $0 is an issue. I don't know. I mean, look, it's so, again, it's very hard to equate because it's not like you're, I think people, if you look at Hollywood is full of like these liberals who are like, we want an equal system, we want an equal country and all this shit. A-list actors take movie roles and now start doing commercials. So there's just this general greed where you just want to have so much money and it's almost become competitive. And I think through social media, now people boast more and more about what they have and how much they have. And that's become like the thing where you're like, oh, we live in a nation where you're basically like a citizen of the scratch off, where you're just like, man, if I could just hit big, if I could just, and that's just not the right way. It's sort of what we were talking about before, where it's like, if you're in some of these other countries in Europe, where you just see general goodness around you and you have like, you can just get things cheaply and everybody can get things cheaply. I don't think you have this mental panic to hoard cash. It's when you live in a country like this one where really your tax dollars afford you nothing, that kind of gives you the mentality of like, oh, I need to keep as much money as possible and save it for my kids and save it for my kids' kids. It's like, it's just better to not operate from a position of paranoia about money for your children when you just go, yeah, there's a social system. They're going to get free health care. Their bankers aren't going to fuck them. Their politicians represent them. And their streets are clean and they don't get fucked for little infractions of day-to-day life. I mean, I just think like, I don't know if you can put a dollar sign on it, but it's like, you don't need much. You really don't. I mean, what do you really need? You don't need that much.
No, people just want to be taken care of, and there's no one in this. There's neither party is taking care of people.
Yeah.
One is just super evil, and the other one just only cares about rich people. I mean, those are the two parties in America.
Well, they both really cater to rich people. We should say thank you to Maria Pendolino, I believe, who made the video for us for this, the great video for no benefit other than to just make it for us. Made a fantastic promo.
Matt Radley wants my thoughts on Andrew Cuomo, why he shouldn't be president. Well, he's basically a Republican, Matt. He actually got several Democrats to after being elected by New Yorkers to work against the Democratic Party in the state Senate to stop progressive legislation from being enacted. So Andrew Cuomo worked against Democrats in his state to stop Democrats from passing progressive legislation. Andrew Cuomo, when asked, and look, there's one solution to the pandemic. There is one. You tax billionaires,
Joe Biden,
super rich,
go ahead,
and you take all that money and you fucking pass it around and you fix the systems that need to be fixed. And when a billionaire tax came up, Cuomo said, I know those people. They would just leave. Okay, guess what? It's New York. They fucking wouldn't, because they can't, because it's New York. Cuomo only cares about rich people. And then the other thing is his handling of COVID was fucking terrible.
I was just going to say that. The old folks home shit.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking crazy.
Relentlessly bad.
He's not a hero. That's the problem. Is the bar for a hero is so low that you just, because he because he was on TV every day and he was arguing with his brother, we're like, I like it. I remember when I was in high school, I saw a picture of George W. Bush, and I met him in my first year in college, whatever it was, and I was like, I just kind of like the way he looks. Like, I just did. I was like, he seems kind of cool. And then it's like, don't fall for the fucking posturing bullshit. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, people.
There's
really
no
like
such thing as. I think this is a nice conversation.
Some guy just yelled "fuck off."
Okay. There's no such thing as infinite wealth, just wealth distribution. So you're only as rich because someone is poor. Your wealth is a direct result of someone else's oppression. And I think that really is true. And that's sort of what the idea of your tax dollars going to something speaks to, is that if you're happy, you're not going to want all the money in the world. You don't have to privately afford personal luxuries. They're just kind of offered to you by the world around you often. And so you don't need you don't need a shitload of stuff. It's simple. It's better to have a minimal existence than one where, by the way, the camera on CNN right now is at a guy putting stuff in a folder. A clear folder. So it's very good. We know that there's stuff to talk about for sure.
I mean, this is what really should have happened is if I was a network, I would have been, hey, it's election week in America. Like, how are you so fucking stupid? How are you so fucking stupid that you missed the opportunity to do this? You're a goddamn network whose job it is to get eyeballs on you, and you call it election night. You're fucking dumb. You're bad at capitalism.
If one of the three had said it's election week in America, the first night is going to be huge, the other networks would scramble.
Oh my God. They would, people would be watching this all week. They could have easily handled this, but they can't, because they sold all the advertising dollars, just like they sold the Super Bowl advertising dollars, and they couldn't go back off it. And they're just fucking dumb. They're dumb.
Because much like our government, the news networks are crackheads looking for the next fix. They don't think long term. They just want the next rock. Give me. I'm thinking of New Jack City, by the way. That's all I think about.
How often? Is that like your main?
New Jack City? I, honest to God, would say I think about New Jack City once a week. That movie, I saw that movie at a time. It just painted this
crazy. Like crack to me, I was like, look, I like doing drugs, but crack is crazy.
Someone just asked if Dems have a chance. Biden's gonna win this election, based on what I'm watching.
Listen to Dave, everybody.
These aren't all those ballots are sitting around being counted. They're all Democratic ballots. They're all fucking Democratic ballots.
I know.
It's just Trump's going to call
Fox
it.
has Trump at over 200. What?
So it says polls close in Hawaii. Oh, polls are closing in Hawaii, but Hawaii did all mail-in voting. Again, what in the fuck are they doing? They're saying polls close in Hawaii. From what I understand is Hawaii had no polls. It was all mail-in. All mail-in.
So
what the fuck are you doing a clock for?
It's so bananas. Dumb. Okay, there we go. Finally. Let's see if Fox has them at 200. It's not up right
now. So they're calling Hawaii. Oh, Hawaii is too early to call. I mean, when's the last time Hawaii went to a fucking Republican? It's not going to Trump. It's fucking Hawaii. Like, just call it immediately. Call it. So dumb.
You know what they should do? How many electoral how many electoral points does Hawaii have?
I think 4 or 5, 3 or 4. Not
they
many.
Should call it Hawaii 04. Like when they announce it, they should be like na Hawaii 04.
Someone said, "Oh, I hope Chapo is wrong." What is Chapo saying?
Oh no. Chapo's probably calling it for Trump.
So sounds like Nithya is up by like 5,000, which is good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm getting some reports in.
What are your reports saying?
Are
they being faxed
from people? This is from someone inside the campaign and Nithya's campaign, so it looks good.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so should we do breaking news? Can we do that breaking news thing for that?
Breaking news?
Yeah.
Oh.
We now go live to Dave Anthony, who's on his toilet. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, I'm shitting, but I wanted to let you guys know.
Get to the meat of the story, Dave.
Internal numbers are coming in from Nithya Raman's campaign.
Not your own internal numbers. Is that a 2?
Against a accused rapist in Los Angeles that all of the rich people seem to love. And Nithya is leading 54,000 to 49,000.
Come on.
I would love to know what Chapo is saying Trump won. He didn't fucking win. Jesus Christ.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Election's going to come down to Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, no. Someone tell Chapo they're being fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. It's so far from over, you guys. This has to be counted for fucking a long time.
I know.
Oh.
And they're
literally doing Trump's work.
Trump's bidding, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. MSNBC has Michigan counties up. Yeah, I mean, look, Michigan, those are the states where I worry about this fucking stealing.
Yeah, again, it's so easy to steal. We forget that in all of this. Not even beyond the disenfranchisement that happens, has already happened. There's also the post-election stealing. So yeah, right now in Pennsylvania, it's like these graphics really make it look like Trump again.
So CNN has it 205 Biden to 132 Trump. Again, they don't have Florida. They don't have Texas.
Boy, you're right. So
those are going to drop. Those guys are going to drop like a fucking hammer.
What do you mean they're going to drop like a hammer? Texas and Florida?
They're going to fall. They're going to go to Texas. I mean, once Florida and Texas numbers come in, everyone's going to lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, right.
It's going to declare victory. Like this is when the
but he still will be behind Biden at that point.
I don't know what the numbers are.
Will he have caught up?
Florida's 29.
Trump won Idaho. 4 electoral votes. So now it's 192 to 136. By the way, Joe Biden should have run a campaign calling it Bidaho. Right there. You're much closer.
People are saying Trump won Ohio.
Yeah, but how can you say that?
Well, some of these states
They've already counted.
early.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
I guess I was
not.
wrong about Florida. I guess I was wrong about Florida. Florida
They're counting.
did count early.
Yep,
So
that's right.
it's amazing that Florida hasn't been called yet. And they haven't called Arizona on CNN, but Arizona is definitely going to.
Yeah, it's very even the Senate. Yeah, they've called Virginia as well, but I think that was announced a little while ago.
Oh, Trump looks bad. That's why they flip it out. But again, I'm sorry, Michigan looks bad for Biden. But again, 50%. You can't. It matters where they're coming in. Are they heavy Democrat areas? Are they heavy Republican areas? It's 50%. You can't fucking say anything at 50%.
By the way, can we stop having James Carville on shows?
Yeah, let's do it.
Please. He looks like a snail who lost his shell.
I'm not at all. I'm not at all down for James Carville. I mean, he's a creepy old man. He sounds weird. He's always been like a right-wingy fucking douchebag. I'm just not interested.
It's the James Carville, stupid.
Yeah.
James Carville, I mean, he's hairless. So as far as like ability, like aquatic buoyancy goes, James Carville is very smooth.
I didn't know we were doing it by
the water like a water snake. Huh? By the way, he's wearing an Abby Hoffman shirt on what I'm watching right now. He's got an American flag button down.
I mean, just flat out, if Trump were to win this,
oh boy,
it's a stolen election. I mean,
well, yes,
those are two options.
Yes.
Biden wins, or it's a stolen election. There is no Trump won. That should literally never come out of anybody's mouth. Trump can never win this election. It is stolen, or it is a Biden victory. Those are the options.
I know, but it's just that the theft. This has been really. It's been glacial theft. It's been slow moving. Yes. Numbing to it from the day-to-day headlines of, hey, DeJoy is slowing the postal service down. They're removing, they're tossing all these names off the voter rolls. They're, more polling but the truth is, this is the culmination, not an anomaly. I mean, this keeps happening every year. Every election, it becomes shadier and shadier, and we know less and less. And this is just, this just again shows you what happens when your laws aren't really written down.
How are people saying? People are asking, how is it stolen? Has anybody been watching the news? They are purposefully slowing down the mail. They are suppressing Black votes and Latino votes massively by making them wait in line for fucking hours.
Pure and simple.
It is a classic stolen election.
But pure and simple, during a pandemic, to say that mail-in voting is fraudulent right off the bat, I mean, that's not okay. That is, I mean, that's just one. Beyond that, like, we could go into a bunch of different things. It's not even necessarily that this election is being stolen in ways that other elections have been stolen, but it's that you can steal our elections, that our electronic voting systems don't have paper trails a lot of times, or that they're like running under 2008 software, essentially. It's that felons in certain states can't. I mean, again, that's why it's glacial, because it is like a bunch of little things. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, essentially.
Yeah, and someone just wrote, I love Dave, but you can never discount the credulity of America. Look, if you don't think this isn't a stolen election, then just stop paying attention, because in my lifetime, Republicans had never won a presidency without fucking stealing it since the first Bush. George Bush Jr. stole both elections. Trump used tons of voter suppression. The Republicans used voter suppression, and voter suppression is stealing an election.
Yeah.
Go read Greg Palast. He is a fucking investigative reporter Trump stole the election. George Bush Jr. stole both elections. This is a stolen election. When you have to win by a landslide, which is what Biden has to do to overcome the thievery, it is a stolen election.
Yeah.
Americans are stupid, yes. This is a stolen election also. Those both can be happening. At some point, you have to go, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This is now,
but again,
crazy.
It's not necessarily even a knock on the Republicans at this point, because it's like the Democrats have agreed to play a game of one-on-one with ankle weights. They've just agreed to it. So it gets stolen, but they're like, cool, let's do it. When's tip-off? There's allegedly been a recent FBI investigation where people who are receiving robotic cold calls asking them to stay home and not go vote. There's been a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, yes, for sure. There's, I mean, fear again.
Honestly, I know the left wants to make a point that that Democrats suck, and Democrats do fucking suck. But a banana on a sidewalk for a week covered in fucking human bloody shit would beat Trump. And that's just the reality of the situation. This guy is a walking fucking piece of shit. And he was down a massive percentage of in all the polls. This isn't some, oh my God, they didn't poll people right again. Sorry, at some point you got to go, fucking shit's just crazy rigged. It's just crazy rigged. And at some point you got to say, what are we going to fucking do about it?
Why did Obama not call Omaha Obamaha?
That's a good question. And I wake up thinking about that in the middle of the night. Sometimes I scream it and my wife has to be like, what's happening?
But okay, so even under the premise now, David, that that there's all this bullshit going on, which we agree is a lot of by the way, someone suggests that it's time to lose the shirts, which I don't agree is wrong. Even under the premise that we're talking about, do you feel at this point that Trump is having a good night in any way? Under the idea that certain people are now starting to say it looks like Trump's going to win, the way the coverage is, the reality of how some of these states that were, kind of questioned as potential states that could go for Biden instead. Just generally, are you thinking in any way that Trump is having a good night?
He just won Idaho on CNN. No, I think that this is as expected. I think that the votes that are going to be counted late are mostly Democratic mail-in ballots. And I think that it's going well for him in the aspect that tons of liberals and leftists are freaking out saying they lost. And when he declares himself the winner, when he's not, then it plays into his fucking hands. I think it's
I completely agree. I mean,
it's really stupid.
How is this? How are not these voices? How is Judd Apatow right now? Is Judd Apatow trending for how much he is shutting all this down?
Apatow.
That's where we look. He's our North Star. Let's see what Judd Apatow is saying, Dave. In one of my favorite segments of the night, what does Judd Apatow think? This is what Judd Apatow retweeted 31 minutes ago. In Wisconsin, they've not even begun to count the absentee votes. So Judd Apatow might be the northern light that we were seeking. There were 1.92 million requested. If Biden wins 2/3 of these, he has the other places. That's 633,000 votes on his way. He currently trails Trump by 80,000 votes. Take a deep breath. Let the mail-in ballots come in.
Yeah.
Another retweet. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin are reporting election day votes earliest and absentee votes latest. We went over this a lot in the past few months. Yes. They won't have the final results until the end of the week at the earliest. There's no point in looking at them now. So, okay. As usual, Judd Apatow's right. Now, Dave, should we play another one of my favorite Twitter segments? What does Brooklyn Dad think?
Oh, God. That guy's the fucking worst human being.
Let's see what Brooklyn Dad thinks.
Oh.
Come on. Wrap in. Let's have a little fun.
Are the liberals screaming at the left yet? Because
Okay, here we go. This is this is Brooklyn Dad. Please remind me to never ever listen to another bullshit poll ever again, ever for the rest of my life.
doing the work of Republicans, doing the work of
100%.
They're all doing the work of Trump.
Call for Biden. You guys, Michigan is probably going to be called tomorrow. They still have 3 million votes to count. Breathe deeply.
3 million votes to fucking count. 3 million votes. What the fuck is everybody doing? They're all fucking screaming and acting like he won. God, they're playing into his fucking authoritarian bullshit hands. Let everything be fucking counted. Good God, man. This is just fucking insane.
I mean, when you and I were even talking about this evening, we were like, how it is funny in the sense that, you're not going to know. So it's like, it's kind of funny to do election coverage, but it's so easy to buy into it when you are just, watching. I mean, and by the way, it's just so annoying.
I mean, this is what I didn't expect. I thought that everyone was on board with, we know how the election is going to play out. It's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be decided tonight, that we might see some violence or some crazy shit tonight, or Trump calling it, which is what I thought would happen, which is kind of why I thought this would be a good thing to do. But I didn't expect liberals to just shit their pants and say we lost when there are still fucking millions of they were all expecting a landslide. It can't be anything else.
Yeah,
but it can't be a landslide because they're stealing votes. It literally can't be a landslide. That's impossible.
No, it's a bummer that the rhetoric is going to be very simple for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, it's really it's fascinating to watch because in my lifetime now, 100% both
they're calling it for Pelosi.
Ah, fuck. Both the Republicans are winning everywhere. Both George Bush elections were just blatantly stolen, and this is what it was like. Everybody watched it and then did nothing.
Yeah,
and so now you know what it's like to live in 2004 with John Kerry as your candidate.
I tried so hard.
Watching it happen in front of your fucking eyes and being like, well, this is crazy. This is just being blatantly stolen. And then everyone calls it and everyone goes on with their day. And you're like, well, that's not what is that what we do? Oh, we just, that's it. They don't learn any fucking lessons.
No. Oh, Biden's about to make a statement. Someone said.
Oh, that's interesting. He's going to come out.
But they said he was going to make a statement anyways. Yeah, Joe Biden made a statement. He's going to come out and say what we're saying, essentially. Yeah, which is just chill. You know, it would be great is if he did the thing where he was just like chill, and then they did the meme where like the sunglasses come down on his eyes, and he's like, and has a joint in his hand.
Look, 100% had the Democrats run a candidate with leftist policies like Obama ran on in 2008.
Let's talk about some winning issues. Let's talk about how Medicare for All is approved by 74%. Legalization of marijuana is like 60s. There's a Green New Deal. But so there's these policies that if you were running as an outsider, you could say they are so popular that you would, and there are things that like if Joe Biden could say that I want to legalize marijuana instead of decriminalize marijuana, it's just a huge difference. And he can't because he's tied to Pfizer. So you have to think that leftist policies are popular. They just need a branding campaign. That's the difference.
It's just amazing. Like this, I mean, there's two things going on. This should have been a slam dunk election for Biden.
Yeah.
It wasn't because he has bad policies. He does have policies. They're just not good policies.
Tough track. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
there's few. There's not a lot.
And if you had policies that you could voice, and if someone called you a socialist and you said, yeah, here's what socialism means.
Yeah,
and a bunch of Americans who never heard that go, oh, I actually like that stuff, which is what it is.
Again, it's marketing.
you
It's
explain the
marketing.
ideas, people go, oh, that's I like that.
Yeah.
You know, this should be a slam dunk election, but Democrats picked a really fucking bad candidate.
Yeah, they did, but
Really
they're
bad
hoping to
candidate.
squeak them by.
And Trump is stealing it also.
Yes, and also Trump is, and the Republican Party has done a really good job of this. It's not even really a knock on the Republican Party anymore.
A lot of people don't know how they stole the 2000 election, but there is a
Wow.
documentary on Means TV if you want to watch it, and also
very-
that's about the voter suppression around Cleveland. But in very particular, if you want to know exactly how they did it, there was one place, Cuyahoga County, where after all the votes in Ohio were counted, except that one place, except that one county, and they waited until the entire country was called. And then they knew exactly how many votes they would need. And the press wasn't allowed in the building. And they just counted it quietly all alone. They were Republicans. And then they came out with the exact number for Bush to win the election. It was the most transparently stolen election I've ever seen in my life.
To answer the 2000 question, it's so simple and so disgusting, but it basically comes down to, if your local governments are Republican enough or your party affiliated enough, they can make the decision for the state. So in 2000, it was very close. And when it went to recount, they made it about dimples and chads, which was about how did people actually poke through the ballot. If it poked through all the way, it was a chad. It was a hanging chad. Was when it had the dimple didn't fully penetrate, so you didn't fully pop. Did those count? It became this sort of minutia-based analysis, and Catherine Harris came in, and she was in charge of the election, and she came in and she put a pause on it when W was ahead. That decision went to the Supreme Court. This is after weeks. Went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court basically decided that the recount had to stop. So they stopped the recount at a weird time when W was ahead, and that's just what they went with. But when a full recount was done, Al Gore won by, a margin of votes, not a lot or anything, but he won.
Yeah, but
he won. He won by whatever, 1,700 votes or something.
And Democrats still blame
Rolled over.
Nader.
Oh, yes.
And yet they won the election. It didn't do anything.
100%.
But they
Ralph
blame Nader, but they won the fucking election.
I know.
It's pretty fucking disturbing.
Is there a difference between how we react as leftists if DJT wins versus if Biden wins, as how we organize resist?
It's going to be mass violence, I think.
I mean, it's just...
it's going to be a pretty violent place.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I think that if Biden wins, then you have you can try to not Biden, but I think you can push other Democrats. I don't think you can make Biden change it all, but if you hit the fucking streets and you make shit really complicated for Biden, I think Biden doesn't know what to do because he's never really faced that. Biden's never really had a left fucking screaming at him. I think he gets very confused and he's old, so who knows what happens. But yeah, I think if Donald Trump wins, I think that he's going to tell his police officers to start killing people instead of just beating them up.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's pretty different.
And it's already sort of getting normalized. I mean, that sort of attitude and behavior is being normalized. I mean, it kind of already has been. It's to watch another 4 years on the trajectory that we're on as far as what the National Guard and the police are allowed to do to people who are, I mean, yeah, like fires get lit, buildings get broken into, but for the most part, a lot of people are peacefully protesting. And to watch what the National Guard and the police are able to do when they fear no repercussions, which they might under Biden, but they're empowered under Trump.
It's a slightly different animal. These
go
all
up
the
to
stuff
11.
that's happening. All the stuff that's happening to the protesters is happening under Democratic mayors. They're all bad. They're all, I mean, technically they go into authoritarianism, just not doing anything for protesters and letting the cops just beat the shit out of people. And
Dave, who do you think would have been the best Democratic candidate?
Well, of the ones we had,
do you like to hit softballs? Is my question.
I think Bernie Sanders, Castro probably would have easily slaughtered Trump. I think you get into a lot of problems with all the rest of them. I think Kamala obviously didn't make it. Buttigieg, whatever his name is, he's a fucking joke. I can't handle Mayor Pete.
To me, I feel like he would have had a better shot. To me, again, when you talk about policy and receipts, you talk about Bernie. I mean, the whole thing that the Republicans tried to do with Biden was frame him as a Trojan horse for socialism, but he kept shirking that, so you didn't really get to see necessarily the sniff test of socialism. Socialism is a scary word to a lot of people because they have no clue what it actually fucking means. But when they actually hear the policies behind socialism, they're extremely popular. So to see what happens with the Bernie Sanders campaign, and having the length of time to debate Trump and all these other things, look, it's time for that experiment at minimum, and most likely those policies are insanely popular, so he would become popular. You're always going to have people coming up with lies against your opponent. I mean, that's just the way it is. So why not have a guy who was like arrested marching for civil rights, who has fought for the same policies for decades? And yes, there are times for sure where you go, oh, Bernie was wrong on this issue, Bernie was wrong on that issue. But that's someone who just has, the proof is in the pudding. And it's just, by the way, what the fuck does that expression even mean? The proof is in the pudding. Yeah. Did someone at some point were they like, this is the best pudding? And someone was like, show me the ingredients. And they go, ingredients? The proof is in the pudding.
Well, I'll look it up.
Okay, great.
This is what live streams are for.
Yeah, this is important.
Let's get answers.
Let's get some breaking news on the
phrase. Oh, wait. This is Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Oh, you have to eat the pudding to know what's inside of it?
What? That sounds like, is that a game show?
That would be a terrible game show. Don't you think?
Dave, I've watched Family Feud today for a little while, so.
Okay.
What do I know?
This means the best way to find out if something is good or successful is to test it yourself.
Yeah, but what is
it? Came from the 17th century in England.
AP is called Minnesota for Biden.
Interesting. Oh, now there's a fucking song.
What song?
I'm reading the definition also, and there's lyrics in Merriam Webster dictionary. It's kind of like no one really knows where exactly it came from or what the original.
So nobody knows where the proof is in the pudding came from. Okay.
Kind of.
Okay. Hey, Dave, how do you feel about ranked choice voting? I can answer that. He thinks it's way better than the system we have now. We should do it.
Yeah, I would say that, but also, ranked choice voting has been shown through some research that when there's two entrenched parties, it actually makes the two-party system worse instead of better.
Yeah, Dave, just like everything else, they'd figure a way. Dave, I was just listening to someone going on about a unity ticket between Dan Crenshaw and Tulsi Gabbard. Would a co-presidency work?
Well, Dan Crenshaw will be the most scary fascist president we'll ever see. So
I don't
not really down.
I don't like.
Also, I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck Tulsi Gabbard is anymore. I mean, it's just
I know
bananas.
She acquiesced.
She loves Modi the fascist. She's for war. She's against war. I don't know.
Well, it's
just all over
tough
the place.
Because if you defended Tulsi in any way, it was because of her Syrian views, which I actually think are pretty right on. And then she says this other shit. You go, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the whole knock on you is that you love dictators, and then you're like, I don't love dictators. Here's another dictator I'm kind of into.
In pastry school, I was told it meant that the only way to know if you've made a traditional pudding correctly is when it is finished.
Well, that's what it seems like. But I'm okay. So it's essentially just
that
So
ad.
the proof is just when you eat it, and then you know.
Of
It's in
course.
there.
Well, that's what I would assume. But it's the idea that there's something odd in the pudding, or whatever. Okay.
Oh no! So this guy did accidentally. No, Daniel, we'll give you your money back. I don't
Oh
want
my
you
God!
to.
Wait. Daniel Burke. Hold on. Daniel Burke
He gave us.
accidentally gave us $400. Daniel, we will figure this out.
Yeah, we'll get you your money back. That's crazy.
You will not owe us $400.
But he probably wanted to give $2 or $4. I mean,
$4.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll give it. But yeah,
Okay.
we're not gonna-
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to fix this. Daniel, do this. If you're listening, email where the Garif's suggestions go, which is garifslive@gmail.com. And just say you're the guy who accidentally gave $400. And by the way, fuck you for calling me an onion. You're welcome that I'm being so cool about this. But email there, and we will get you your money back. By the way, this is not going to be a regular policy, so really check what you're doing. You can accidentally donate $500, but you're not going to get it back, Miguel. Yeah, I mean, is there? And again, they're still not calling Arizona for Biden. Is there anything else, Dave, to put a pin point, an end to the evening? What do you think?
No,
Someone
I mean,
and then Alex X just gave us $400 and said, "Here's $400 you can keep."
wait, what? You guys are crazy. Thank
You
you.
should have just met up with Daniel. What's his face? I don't know. Greased up bare knuckle shirtless boxing match. Who wins, Trump or Biden, Dave?
Oh, Trump, one hit.
Yeah. 2 hits.
One
Him
hit.
hitting Biden and Biden hip falling out of his body and hitting the ground. Thanks for being around. Yeah, it's existential dread. We all understand how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. What did someone just say? LOL, just talk to Google support. Do not email Gareth. Have them process the refund. Yeah, do that. Talk to Google support. There you go, Daniel. Talk to Google support. Tell them you didn't want to give us that money.
Okay,
by the way, don't
just
act like I'm
said-
being shady about it. I was going to just give them the money.
I guess they aren't calling. Someone just said, bad ramen said, I guess they aren't calling Florida yet because there are 2 districts that have mail-in ballots hanging out with the USPS because it must be the governor defied a judge's order to find 300,000 ballots. Yeah, I heard about that.
God, he is such a piece of shit. It's so obvious, though, that DeSantis is going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing about Florida is I never thought DeSantis would let the Democrats win it. They would just...
Yeah.
Oh, Fox News just retracted their call for...
Of Arizona? Wow.
Yeah,
What are they
it's a
doing?
stolen election. I mean, I just can't handle people acting like this is if everyone's gonna watch all the shit that went on and see the suppression of every fucking voter that isn't white and act like this isn't a stolen election, then everyone just go fuck themselves. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. If Trump walks away with this and everyone's like, well, he won, fuck you. Biden ran a shit campaign, but guess what? This is a fucking stolen fucking election. Grow the fuck up and put on your big boy pants.
I would love to put on some big boy pants. I'm not wearing pants. I'm what we call Jeffrey Tubin. But yeah, I think that is the thing that it's, I mean, again, you're playing Twister when they tell you your hand could be your foot. So it's you've agreed to the rules. So they've agreed, the Democrats agreed to this rule book, and this is what's happening.
I mean, we're literally watching, what we're watching play out is someone who put a plan into place. Everybody knew about the plan. Everybody, they wrote about it. They talked about it. And then the plan is happening and everybody starts screaming and running around like they can't believe what's happening.
My mother's now a part of it. Should we FaceTime my mother very quickly?
Sure.
My mother likes your haircut, she said. Let's see. Let's FaceTime.
Thank you. I did it myself.
I'll hold her up like this. Let's see. No, not answering. No, she just might have checked in real quick because it's late there. Okay.
This is a letdown. This is like the results coming in. Just the letdown. But Dave, through text message, she expressed that she did like your haircut. That's the good. She likes your haircut. Okay. Well, Dave, parting thoughts. Do you want to read another Florida headline real quick? Do you have another one? Since we can talk about the great state of Florida. We're thinking about doing a Florida podcast.
Yeah, we are. Sure.
Okay.
Sure
Thank
thing.
you.
We can do that.
Thanks,
yeah,
buddy.
Gotcha. Why is my computer being slow?
I don't know where Pam is. Pam screwed us, everybody.
It's not liking the live.
Oh, good news, everybody. Pam
Why?
called
What is-
back. Here you go. You got a second, Dave, because it's Pam time, you asshole. No, wait. It's doing that weird thing. Okay, there we go. Mother. Well, what do you think? No, Dave says it's looking okay. Dave, my mother on FaceTime.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Hi.
My mother said it's not looking good. What would
There's
you say to her,
tons of-
Dave?
There's tons
There's
of votes.
tons of votes to
It's-
still
it's-
count, Pam.
Look, it's
close,
close,
but there's tons of votes to still count.
every
Okay.
every indication is that they're counting the Democratic
Every
votes
indication
late
is
because
that
they were
they're
mailed
counting
in,
the
and there's going to be
Democratic votes
massive.
late because they're being mailed in.
Oh, okay.
There'll be massive Democratic vote.
There'll be a
votes
massive
at that
Democratic vote.
Oh, good. Joe Biden to speak shortly, it says.
Yeah, Joe Biden to speak shortly. My mother confirming Joe Biden to speak shortly. Mother, do you know where the expression "the proof is in the pudding" comes from?
No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
I would think I'll look it up.
We looked it up, and it was just a bunch of bullshit about how you taste pudding to see if it's good pudding, which is just like every other food.
Wait a minute.
You could say the proof is in the omelet. Why is the expression not "the proof is in the omelet"?
I would think it was to do with a Christmas pudding, maybe, because you used to in the old days, you'd make those really, really early and leave them in the pantry to mature. So it could be that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Dave, what are your thoughts on my mother's theory that the pudding is actually a Christmas pudding that you had to leave in the pantry all day?
And then it matured.
And then it matured. It went through what
What
we
is
would
that?
call it went through what we would call cake adolescence.
That's right.
What is happening in your family? This is crazy.
Dave is being so rude to us, mother. The proof is in the pudding with
This
this
is
ass.
insane.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he's just he's slacking us off a bunch.
Oh, that's a shame because I liked his hair. Now
Yeah.
I've gone off his
You used to like his hair, now we're done with it.
That's
Dave, fuck your hair. My mother just said that. That's a quote.
the proof isn't in the pudding.
The proof
Dave.
isn't in the pudding with you, Dave.
Garfield, what's with the hat? Is that your wedding hat?
That's the hat I had for the wedding, yeah, but now I'm wearing it for the live stream that we're just about to finish.
Is it because you're about? Are you still on? Aren't you finished yet?
Yeah, no, you're still on live. We're on live on YouTube right now.
I'm live.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't see me.
No, you can't really see you. No, you look dark.
Good. That's good. Yes, I am dark.
Yeah, well, you're in a dark light.
I'm dark.
All right, we'll chat tomorrow, Pam.
All right then. Okay. All right. I'm going with Dave's theory.
Dave is saying hold strong, and if Trump wins, it's a bunch of bullshit, and we'll figure it out from there.
Okay. Here's a phrase. It's not all over till the fat lady sings. Where's that come from?
That's right.
The opera.
Okay. Right.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was an American phrase. Is that British too?
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything here. We're just here.
No. Somewhere I have a list of what some of these phrases are. I'll have to find it.
Well,
Okay.
you know what phrase plays to that?
What's that?
You're only as good as your book of facts.
It's your book of phrases. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Mom. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Dave, thoughts on that conversation?
No, it's just very English and weird.
Okay, sure. Someone said you can wipe now. Okay, so Dave, let's put a finer point on the evening. What thoughts are basically await these mail-in ballots, which is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was always going to be. We're always going to have to wait until the mail-in ballots. But this feels right now very much like Democrats are giving up, and it feels very 2000 Gore. Everybody giving up before the fight is over.
Yeah.
Sort of feel. And he hasn't
and
even
now
lost
the
yet.
electoral count is 215 to 136. I mean, it's very strange because 270 is so close for 215, but you know, it's very strange, and they still have not called Texas, as you said. Florida, it sounds like they're going to call Florida soon.
Yeah, look, all these people were like, "Oh, he can win Texas." Like it was the same shit with Hillary, where they just delude themselves into thinking.
And then they come up with the 50-state strategy, and you almost delude the work you're doing in other places because you can't. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Josie asks, "What can she tell her students tomorrow?" Tell them to wait. Tell your students to be patient.
Tell them to wait.
Tell them to follow Judd Apatow.
That this is what democracy is. You wait until all the votes are counted, and then we don't know anything.
Let's get one more Florida headline. Do you have another Florida? Let's do one more Florida.
Yes.
And by the way, this thing is going to really tighten up tonight. Yeah.
His daughter saved a can of election spam for 3 years, and they're eating it tonight. From the Tampa Bay Times.
What?
In 2017, John Guladay was shopping at the Cross Creek Commons Publix near his home in New Tampa when his 12-year-old daughter Allison brought over a can of spam. She pointed to the canned meat products best by date, November 2020. It was election night spam, she joked, and suggested they hold on to it until the presidential election.
Until it's expiring?
3 years later, election day is finally here, and Gallaudet and his daughter are about to find out what nearly expired spam tastes like.
December 2020. Then you're like, well, eat it before. You don't do it if it is November 20. You're like, and now it's bad. How many people is Trump going to kill in Florida?
He's a Hillary voter and a Biden voter.
Oh my God. Wait, so this.
Just amazing.
So they're eating spam to rid themselves of Trump?
I mean, I don't know if it's to rid themselves of Trump or if it's just to enjoy a nice meal on the.
Oh my God. Just to celebrate. Hey, you know a better way to celebrate election night? With mind-bending diarrhea.
Can you tell Daniel the email again? Because he didn't get it for the refund.
Oh, I did, but somebody said to just go through Google, Daniel. Someone said, oh, you're having an issue, in case you have an issue with Google. It's where you can email suggestions for Riffs, which I do every Thursday night on this channel, which you should subscribe to. Subscribe here, and every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I do a show here. And then email Gariffs, GARIFFS, live, LIVE, @gmail.com. And just say you're the person who accidentally gave us your rent money. And we'll figure it out. Okay, Dave. Well, I'm glad those people ate the spam for the Biden. Is in any way did the Biden spam curse us? Are you feeling that? Oh, Joe Biden's speaking, Dave.
No, I don't.
Joe Biden's speaking.
We feel good about where we are. We really do.
He's doing this in the middle of a freeway.
We believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote, it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted. But we're feeling good. We're feeling good about where we are. We believe one of the nets has suggested we've already won Arizona, but we're confident about Arizona. That's a turnaround. We also just called it for Minnesota, and we're still in the game in Georgia, although that's not what we expected. We're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the way, it's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania. But talking to folks in Philly, Allegheny County, Scranton, and they're really encouraged by the turnout and what they see. Look, you know, we can know the results as early as tomorrow morning, but it may take a little longer. As I've said all along, it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome. And I want to thank every one of you who came out and voted in this election. And by the way, Chris Coons and the Democrats, congratulations here in Delaware. Hey, John, the Gov, yeah, the whole team, man. You've done a great job. I'm grateful to the poll workers, to our volunteers, our canvassers, everyone who participated in this democratic process. I'm grateful to all my supporters here in Delaware and all across the nation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And folks, you heard me say it before. Every time I walk out of my grandpa's house up in Scranton, he'd yell, Joey, keep the faith. And my grandma, when she was alive, yelled, no, Joey, spread it. Keep the faith, guys. We're going to win this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. There's a Joe Biden statement, David.
Mm-hmm.
Joe
That's what we
Biden's statement.
expected.
Yeah, I mean, essentially saying what our hero Judd Apatow is saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm saying the same thing that I thought that we all agreed on, which was the Democratic ballots are going through the mail. They're going to come in late. They're all going to be be counted later. And then the swing at the end would be towards Biden. It wasn't just me, like that was the whole thing. The experts on authoritarianism, the experts on elections said very clearly, they called it the Red Mirage. They said the way he steals it is to call it at night before all the ballots are counted. And then the next day and the next couple of days, as the results come in, it'll go to Biden.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's happening. I don't know how anybody looking at what I'm looking at can be like, that's it, Trump won.
Yeah, I agree.
What the
I
fuck
think
is
that
happening?
position is not. I don't understand that position. I understand being very cautious and pessimistic because of 2016. But again, this is such a different time. I mean, there's so many mail-in ballots. So, do we think the ballots will be counted in the coming days? No, look, not all. I mean, there's definitely shenanigans going on for sure. But they have to count some. There's more coming in than for Biden than there's not. No matter how many they count, it might come down to that, and that's when it would be stolen. Again, that's when it would be fully stolen. Is when you go, oh yeah, well these, Trump and Biden are even in mail-in ballots. That's when you would.
This is why we were worried about the places that were saying they were trying to stop the ballots from being counted. This is why everybody was worried about that. Like that's the fucking thing.
It gets lost when your news cycle is just like getting punched in the face every hour.
No, but I looked on Twitter and every leftist and every liberal's like, well, that's it. I mean, we fucked it. I didn't think of it. Okay. And you're just like, the ballots aren't fucking counted, guys. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Does no one remember the famous picture?
Hey,
Dewey
why
wins.
Do people hate the liberals and call them pussies. Yeah. Well, okay. So I think that's pretty much it, Dave. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people?
Someone
the people really
said,
like hearing from you. What?
I don't. My friend just gave me an update, and I have no idea who. Someone's like, so and so's way ahead, and you're like, I don't know who that is. Hold on, he's giving me an update, but apparently it's a really big deal.
Oh, whoa!
Trump just tweeted out, and he spelled polls POLLS as POLES.
Oh my God! Yes, we're finally ahead and ready to vote for Donald.
We are such a stupid country.
Oh my God!
I mean,
as far as the things, but by the way, there's no way that Trump is not leading with the thing you put the flag on. Period. Trump is ahead with polls. Period. Nobody loves the flag more than Donald. He hugs them. That's why the poll numbers are so high for Trump, because he hugs the polls that hold the flags. That's just fucking mathematics, bro. Do you have?
I
Okay.
I guess I'm really disappointed in the leftists tonight who
Weird.
who don't understand what suppression is and what gerrymandering is. And look, we all don't like the Democrats if we're on the left. We think they're really fucking bad and really stupid. And this was a really stupid campaign. And yet, on top of all that, there's shenanigans going on. And so you gotta say both things. Biden fucking ran a bad campaign, but also still beat Trump if you just have an election. But this isn't an election. This is tons of fucking bullshit. So the first thing I say is it's stolen. It's stolen.
Yeah.
There's a combination of things on. It's a stolen campaign, it's a stolen election, and a shitty campaign. Those both can be things.
But by the way, I mean, if the result of this is that we end up with Donald Trump, it's all just irrelevant. Again, the specifics don't matter. What matters is that our system is such a failure that we can't have actual elections. So what is the point? What is the point of watching debates? What's the point?
No, totally. I mean, the problem is now is like you can't, and Democrats have put themselves in this position. If Trump steals the election, there's a huge segment of the population who is so tired of Dems that they don't want to say that Trump stole the election. They just want to say you fucking ran a bad campaign again, which is true.
Yeah.
This should have been a blowout. Biden should have used Bernie's people and gotten all those Latino votes and courted them. And instead they thought they could be arrogant and win it easily. And the reason that we're here now is because the Democrats are fucking arrogant.
Here's what we have from Trump in the last 5 minutes.
It's exactly what we said. It's
I will
exactly
be making
what we said would happen.
a big win. And then he just wrote, we're up big, but they're trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. So there you go. So there it is.
Yeah. So he's doing exactly what we fucking said he would. And I'm watching all the liberals and left fall for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This country's fucked because there's so many fucking just dummies. It's just a country of dummies. This is exactly what we knew he would do. I mean, this is the statement we expected.
Yes, I mean, it may as well have been a timed tweet that he set 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 100%.
They better not fuck this up.
They are going to fuck it up.
Are they?
I mean, here it is. This is literally what all the experts said would happen. We are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. Yeah. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. So he's saying,
yes, he's
that
saying
those mail-in ballots. He's saying the mail-in ballots.
That's crazy.
He's saying the mail-in ballots are being cast after. That's what he's saying.
But he's also not even ahead. It's a flawed argument, is my point, David.
I just can't believe anybody's falling for this shit. But
if this really better. We should probably both tweet out now to relax.
Well, this is exactly what we said would happen.
I know, but it's just crazy.
Oh my God. It's exactly what we thought he would do. But the funny thing is,
don't even report it.
This is what I said on FOFOP. I said that he asked me, what are the things that will happen? I said, 10 out of 10, this happens.
Yeah. Well,
this is 100% guaranteed. Everyone knew it was going to fucking happen. What are we doing? Fuck, man. It's just so crazy.
It's normal. Everything's fine. By the way, you haven't peed once. You must be on the toilet.
No, I actually I haven't had. That's weird. I haven't had to.
You're cute. Let's call it, Dave. We this is our election evening coverage. We went an hour later than we said we would. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Dave, last parting thoughts? Anything? Stay calm.
Just everybody
carry a
fucking
big
calm
dick.
down. Just
Yeah.
fucking calm down. Oh my God. Dave's body language just showed Trump's going to win. You know what my body language shows? My body language shows how disappointed I am in the left. It's the left that my body language is like, Jesus Christ. Can the left not fucking fight either? Can anybody fight? Can anybody fucking fight? It's time to fucking fight. Can anybody fight? Holy shit.
Maybe we can do, maybe we can do another one of these in a week. That's just an update on this, if this shit's still going on. And yeah, because potentially in a week there still is shenanigans. Who knows? But yeah, I think that, the truth is, even with the liberal left on Twitter freaking out, and even with the news media being abysmal, it is not over. There's actual it's not a matter of Trump tweeting. There's still more to come. This is just how it's going to work. There have been lawsuits in court that have been fought and overturned and gone to higher courts and been there's been a lot of legislating leading to this time. So the mail-in votes will get counted. They won't all get counted because of bullshit, but there is a good chance that there's more to come. So there really is. So don't freak out. This is kind of what was to be expected. What some people were painting a picture of was where Biden wins Florida and it's over tonight.
Well, also this is when him saying they're stealing the election. Well, that's when the violence starts. That's called the violence. That's when the Proud Boys come out and do their thing. So that's what we need to really look at now.
Now, wait, let's see one thing real quick. Oh, I just heard that they censored his Twitter, but they didn't. It's still up. Okay.
Well, the fact that that's not censored is absolutely hilarious.
Twitter's
this country, the media and the social media is just a fucking disaster.
Yes, it's insane. This country should be called, it is Facebook and Twitter. They run everything. So, okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Let's communicate, and this is all, let's stay the course for now, and we'll see what happens.
This was all predicted. This was exactly what we
And by the way, Campbell's Soup dropped out as a sponsor at like 45 minutes, which is just a fucking bummer. So the soup era is over on this. All right, everyone. Farewell.
All right.
Love you too. We love you. Hang in there, really. We know
Thank you. Hang in there, guys.
Hang in there, honestly. All right. Bye.